Hello and welcome to Bosch Professional Live UK. I'm Danny.
And I'm Chris, and as you saw there, we have Ella for her last ever Q&A.
Hi guys, like usual, as this is a live stream, drop any questions you have in the chat below and I'll throw them at Chris and Dan throughout.
Now, I guess first things first, it's like, oh, Chris and Dan, why are you late? We're always late. However, as you can imagine, we've got quite a busy live stream today, haven't we, Dan? What are we doing?
Certainly have. Today's live stream is our T2, our third of the year, that's easy to say, of power tool launches. And we do have a really wide variety of things to talk about today.
Yeah, a very diverse range of products. What we also have, for the first time, is actually we're bringing this live stream before start of launch.
Yes,
Now, normally we leave it a little longer, so to allow some of the stock to make it into our stores and our distribution network to make sure that when we do the live stream, then in theory, you can go straight out and then you can go and purchase some products.
Yes.
However, we've decided, hopefully rightfully, that with this live stream, we want to actually talk about products that haven't come out yet. Now, before we get started, Ella, as always, who have we got in the chat?
We've got lots of regulars in the chat. Hi PF Cutters, Marcus Horn and Dave's Workbench. A lot of people are also asking about the Protractor, so I don't know if you want to speak a bit about that before we start.
Well, yes. Well, as you can probably see already, that Dan and I are already got good drip. Yeah, we're clearly engineered for action. And
you can tell me about what that means later.
That's right. Well, actually, if you want to find out what this engineered for action is all about, well, then the best place probably would be coming to see Danny and I, and as well as many of our other Bosch Professional colleagues, at our new truck tour for 2026.
In fact, all of them.
In fact, all of them. That is right. We, Danny and I, are going to be at all of them. There are plenty throughout the year. We had, I think, if I remember correctly, we only really had 3 dates.
Yes.
But only really one of those dates last year was open to the public. Instead, we're going to have numerous dates in this. Well, it's going to be in this month, and also we're going to have some more in September and October.
Yes, later on.
I say this month, I mean May, sorry. So we're going to have some dates in May. The first one's going to be the 14th of May at Leyland. And if you want to find some of the addresses and you want to see some of the times, feel free to pop onto our website. The first 3 stops are already on the website, which is going to be on the 15th and on the 21st, I think, is all on the website.
Yes, that's it.
But if you want to come and meet Dan and I, maybe. Can I have some pictures with us? No.
Maybe, probably not, no.
Yes, that's right. But obviously, you can have a look at some of our new products.
Yes, they'll all
New
be there.
gear. I don't know. These are pretty fancy. I don't know whether or not we can give these away, but maybe if you stay tuned to our social media channels, you might be in the chance to win one of these fabulous bits of kit.
They are.
Okay, right. So, okay, we've talked about the truck tour. So, yes, if you want to come and see us and all the innovations, come and join us. Ella, have we got any questions to get us started, or should we get straight into it?
Some people have been pointing out your jackets, like you said, your new drip, asking, does this mean that there's some new workwear on the horizon?
Oh, it's an interesting topic, that.
I knew. I predicted that. I said, as soon as we wear this, people are going to go,
Workwear?
Workwear? Where's Marcus? Where's Nadeem? Where's all the usual regulars going? Workwear? Okay. Well, I don't think this counts as workwear. I've made the joke already. That,
it's too clean. I've already got fluff on it,
that's
so
right.
it's not lasted a long time.
Dan's had it on for at least 30 minutes, and it's still clean, and that's the limit. If it was me, however, I think I would get this absolutely ruined quicker than that. However, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
It's pretty sharp.
It's pretty sharp. Okay, right, so why is Chris waffling on? Well, as per usual, as we know, not everyone can join the live stream straight away, but I think I've spent enough time making sure that everyone's in and we can start looking at the first of quite a great range of new products.
We have, yes.
I'm going to see how much longer I can wear this jacket before I start melting.
Yes.
But anyway.
Turn the aircon down so it doesn't buzz on the live stream for you, but unfortunately, wearing a jacket's not really conducive to standing here in the studio.
Let's start off small. But quite interesting, actually.
Very interesting, in fact.
So let me pop it down. So the first thing I have here is a nice new little battery.
Yeah.
Is it new? Well, it is in some ways, actually. There's some
quite a lot.
interesting parts to this battery that make it slightly different to the batteries we've had in the past.
Exactly.
Now, I imagine in the chat I can see people going, oh, what is it?
Well, another battery. Oh, God.
Yes. Well, first off, this is going to be our brand new GBA 18V-20.
So a 2 amp hour.
2 amp hour
single
battery.
layer cell battery.
I can hear people saying, but we've already had a 2 amp hour battery in the past, haven't we? Yes, we have. However, we've made some changes. But let's get through.
It's pretty clear that this is replacing that battery going forward.
Yes, that's right. So, yes, okay, it's a compact single layer battery. Well, first things first, this is still going to be running the 18650 cells.
Yes.
So it's still going to be your lightweight compact battery for light duty work. If you are going to try and, if you are wanting to run heavy duty applications, if you're still using some bi-turbo products, obviously this isn't the battery we'd recommend. This is the kind of thing you'd use for like overhead work, things that don't necessarily need a lot of power, and also applications where weight is probably quite important. Size and weight.
We have a couple of tools that we're going to be showing you today that this will be perfect for as well.
Well, first off, we'll have a look at the outside, and then maybe Dan and I can excite you all with what we've done on the inside, which sounds mundane, but actually it's quite interesting what we've done.
It is.
Now, the first thing we want to have a look at is obviously, if I bring your attention to the front of the battery, is you've got a little button on the top here.
Yep.
And if I press that, you've got your battery indicator.
Yes.
Now, for those who aren't aware, or I don't know, who've been living under a rock, obviously for many of our batteries, we've always had the battery indicator on the back.
Yeah, it was a ribbon switch with a push button, almost like a dimple in the side of it. Obviously, professional working environments, if you've got dirt, dust, water maybe, it's possible that that can peel slightly, and obviously once that's peeled off, it exposes the electronics to more moisture and damage. That will probably stop the battery level indicator working. So we've relocated it round to the front of the battery, well out of the way. The button is sealed and it's in a more concealed place. And it just means that it's a little bit more hard wearing.
Yeah. For the observant out there, you've obviously noticed that we have now the battery catch at the front, so the actual latch to remove the battery is in line with the new design that we have on our Expert batteries. Let me grab an example.
The action on these is incredibly light as well, so it does make it an awful lot easier to remove.
Okay, so I mean, we have obviously had some feedback much earlier on in regards to the difference of our batteries, and a lot of it was down to a completely different system as opposed to the traditional push that we have on, say for example, our Pro cores, and that's the battery catch you're all very familiar with. Obviously we're going now for, I don't know, people, it's a bit of a marmite at the moment because I think people are used to the old system.
I don't think it's an issue with the actual battery release. I think there's a natural feeling to squeeze the battery to remove it because you're gripping it and pulling it out. However, on some of the older machines, I think access for your fingers, depending on what sort of size your fingers are, how many fingers you can get on the button to remove it. But obviously going forwards, that's not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah, and let's be honest, let's admit where we've made some minor mistakes, but we've corrected them very quickly. There were some early batches where the button was quite stiff, and all that has been remedied. So if you had any issues with that, again, that's a good opportunity to contact our service department. But actually nowadays, if you're purchasing any of our batteries, either the Expert or these new, in a couple of days, these new 2 amp hour batteries, there is no issue at all. Okay, so the battery catch system is now in line with our Expert batteries. Underneath,
yes, we've actually still got that HDPE material, the high density polyethylene that draws the heat out of the cells and dissipates it. Again, shaped like a heat sink because in fact it is a heat sink. It's drawing it out. However, larger surface area on this, completely different moulding system. You can get that heat out even better.
Yeah, I think it is a very slick, smoother design.
Yes.
Now I don't have too much of a preference. I like the more traditional cooling fins that we've had on the previous GBA batteries and the Pro cores. But as I said, we've been able to manage to make this like a slick bottom, but have no negative effect on the passive cooling system. Okay, right. Anything else?
This has actually made, because of the size of the HDPE material under here, being from corner to corner now, it has made the battery an awful lot stiffer and a lot stronger as well. So you're not getting any flex in the material. My goodness knows what you're doing out there with the batteries if you're actually managing to flex the housing. However, this is built to a even tougher requirements.
Okay, right, there's been no change in the performance of the batteries because obviously the internals, when it comes to at least the raw power that we can deliver from a compact battery, is still the same at 550 watts of maximum power. So as I said, that is ideal for your lightweight compact tools. Don't forget, if you need more power, we've got lots of options for you to increase power and runtime. Weight-wise, hey, it doesn't weigh too much at all, 0.39 kilograms. Again, as I said, compact, lightweight. You're not going to notice this on the bottom of your tool.
No.
And I guess you could say, just lastly, just to cover the main basics, guess what? surprise, surprise, it is part of our AmpShare battery alliance.
Of course. Yeah.
So fully compatible with our entire range of Bosch Professional power tools, as well as the majority of our AmpShare partner tools. If you're in any doubt, don't forget you can always jump onto any of those websites, say for example Rothenberger's website or Fine's website, and you can find out very quickly which one of their current tool range is fully compatible with our Bosch batteries. As they move forward, all their new products will already be compatible with the new battery our battery platform. Oh, lovely, right. Now, what's gone on the inside? Because obviously the battery is fundamentally, at least for the most part, it's the same size and dimension. The new battery is a bit slightly taller at 43 millimeters as opposed to 40 millimeters.
Not really noticeably though.
No, we're talking about millimeters here. And when it comes to length and width, it's basically the same as 1 millimeter difference in it.
Yeah.
So really what we've done is we've done some smart things on the inside, Dan, haven't we?
We certainly have. So again, like I said, we've got that dagger design, which gives it a more robustness inside. However, we've got made a few changes with the electronics, haven't we?
Yes, we have the electronics as well as actually the physical part of the battery. So this actually the housing of the battery is able to withstand a 2 meter drop, and I think they did that with I think it was like a 5 kilo machine. So basically, it was one of our one of our bi-turbo brushless machines. Yeah. Dropping that on the battery, and it still was functional. There wasn't an issue. The cells weren't compromised. But as Dan points out, yes, the electronics inside, there's been some changes that have actually not just brought them up to the norms, because all our batteries were already up to the safety norms. Now they're exceeding them.
They by far exceed it now. So we've chucked in. We always have temperature sensors in the inside of the batteries. Obviously, our chargers and our tools talk to our batteries, and they need to know the temperature of the battery to control the monitoring and control the charging and the use of the power tool, making sure that you don't overload the battery, self-preservation built in. But this one has 2. So it has, you think about it as a fail-safe almost.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 separate sensors in there, giving you an average temperature, which is, again, far more accurate for the overall temperature rating of the battery.
Okay, so 2 as opposed to a single cell monitoring. Now we have 2, so a redundancy, as you said. Great. Yes. The other thing it's got is it now has also 2 temperature sensors as well. So before we had 1, now we have 2. Not only does that give you the benefit of, again, a redundancy, but you said this already.
I've said it already. Yeah.
I thought you said cell monitoring.
No, I hadn't got to cell monitoring yet.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm going backwards. Don't worry.
Oh, you're going backwards. Okay, right. So if he's done that, then I'm talking about single cell monitoring.
I'm just going to let you go.
Yeah, fine. Single cell monitoring. The advantage here is the fact that the battery is now able to monitor both its own internal voltage as well as when in use, but is also able to do it when on the charger. And that is also because on our chargers now, all new chargers have also had an additional pin added to it. And that will now index with this additional monitor on the battery, which means if there's any issue with the charger, say for example the charger's faulty, for example, and it's trying to put too much current into the battery, then that means quick emergency stop, and you're not going to run the risk of damaging your battery or potentially starting a runaway reaction, which is obviously the last thing you want.
Scenario,
worst case scenario.
And when that goes for any lithium-ion battery as well. They don't like the heat.
That's right, yes. Now again, this is not an issue that we've had and we've had to address. We're just making sure that we are far and above over the standard norms for battery technology. So this is your IEC norms. So we've got batteries obviously that are compact. We have batteries that are powerful. We've now got batteries that are, I'm going to say it, safer than ever. So obviously that reassures you if you're purchasing into our battery platform or on our power tool system that we've got batteries that can withstand, well, let's be frank, the abuse that you put them through. So dropping them, using them as hammers, don't recommend that, of course. But obviously the outside is now structurally even harder and stronger than before, preventing the deformation of the cells. But also when it's doing things that aren't under your control, like being discharged and charged, then rest assured that we put even more technology in there to keep the battery and you protected.
Just remember obviously, if you do get a battery that ceases to function, or remember that it's not just a storage medium for energy. That circuit board in there, that battery management system, is as important as the cells themselves. And again, it's worth checking the terminals of the battery before you're charging or after you're charging just to make sure that they're in good condition as well.
Okay.
Obviously, if you're using it day in, day out,
Absolutely.
they can spread apart slightly and wear.
And some people also ask, what's this weird stuff on the batteries when I get
Oh
from
yes,
you?
yeah.
That weird stuff is probably quite a good thing to keep maintained, actually.
Yes, you could do. It's a lithium based grease, just to ward off moisture and corrosion.
That's right, yeah. And we know that, of course, everyone cleans the terminals on their tools
Of course,
and their batteries.
yes,
But
yes,
you should always keep your SDS tool holders and shank clean, boys and girls. Anything else? Right, now I think that's enough for now on batteries.
Yep.
But I will pause very briefly before we start looking at some of the new power tools, because Ella, I wonder whether or not there's anyone not necessarily making any asking questions, but maybe I saw there's quite a lot happening in the chat, or they just chatting about the new batteries. So I see there, why not tabless cell from Phenor? Well, we don't need tabless cells in a compact battery, I'd
It's
argue.
a compact battery for more lighter duty work, and you're not going to be heating that up to the requirements needed for a tabless cell.
Here is your compact tabless solution. So you want your 4 amp hour Pro Core. That's not Pro Core. That'll be your high powered compact. If you want tabless, then you can go for the Expert 4 amp hour. Why do we not have a 2 amp hour tabless? Well, because we don't make 2 amp hour tabless cells.
They make a 4 amp hour tabless cell, but as far as I know, not a 2 amp hour.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, Ella, have we got any, is it just comments really, or any questions about the batteries before we move on?
Yeah, there's been quite a bit back and forth about the batteries in the chat. There's been a lot of talk about why isn't there a 3 amp hour battery in that size available as well.
Well, we used to.
Yes, we did used to. Yep.
I think we used to have 2.5, 3.
The 3 used to be a dual layer.
Oh, why didn't we have it?
Can't remember seeing a 3. I may be wrong, but I can't remember seeing a 3
Maybe I'm wrong.
3 amp single layer.
Maybe
I
I'm
think
thinking 1.5.
1.5 dual layer,
Yeah.
1.5 amp. But
Yes. Why? I think it's because, I think for production reasons, it's like, well, the 4 amp hour.
we moved away from the 6 amp hour battery because our fear was obviously on a job site, the potential of maybe piercing something that's built so much more compact. Because you remember, you've got that jelly roll inside those cells. It has to be wrapped and there has to be a separator in there. And it does make them more fragile. So we moved away from the 6 amp or the 3 amp hour cells, but with the 3 amp hour dual layer, they were only 1.5 amp hour cells. So I think that was a bit safer.
I'll take your word for it.
I think so. It makes sense in my mind anyway.
The yeah. So in regards to like why I made a 3, hey, I think 2 is one of those batteries that it's not necessarily something that I don't recommend, but I'm always more about raw power. I find that I like to have additional runtime and the ability to run bigger machines if I need to.
Yeah.
I don't tend to have to deal with things in regards to lightweight and compact. I'll just make do. I'll just brute force through it. But again, I have to agree that when you're running on the compact batteries, if it's overhead work, it's not a problem. I don't have a problem with the 4 amp hour batteries, but I would imagine it's the fact that when it comes to volumes, 3 amp hour is just not as popular as 2 and 4. But hey, good point. Good question. Maybe we'll ask them. We've seen the roadmap for the new batteries coming out. I think it's fair. I think we could tease a little bit and say,
there are dual layer versions coming.
That's right, yes. We're going to make sure that all our batteries are in alignment with the new style, being led primarily by the Expert style.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So let me see. Have we got any questions in there? Not needed.
There was a whole
Yeah, fair enough.
about recommendations for what grease they should use if they want to re-grease their
It's a white
battery
lithium grease.
terminals.
White lithium grease, yeah.
We can't recommend brands, but don't worry.
No.
There are plenty out there.
There's plenty of grease brands out there. You're fine.
Okay, right. So we'll move on to the first product. I'll leave the battery on there because actually it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good on it. So 2 machines.
So 2 machines, in fact, yes.
Start off with the first one,
So the
course.
first one is, hopefully, if you've got them right, the GSR 18V-52. Now, again, this is another replacement for the machine for another one that we currently have in the range. I like this one. It's even shorter than its predecessor.
Okay, let me get a predecessor.
So the predecessor is the GSR 18V-45.
45. Now, I think the best way to show it off is obviously that, before we get into the specs, is to show you the physical difference. So if I put the 45 behind, hopefully that shows you that the 45, although at the time, I think was a pretty small machine. I would say it was in line.
It was in line with 12 volt.
12 volt.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see the difference in the headland. Hopefully if I put it on the table there, you can see. There you go. You've got an even smaller 18 volt dual driver.
It's a little wider in the back, but some people like that.
Some people I've heard. So what's the difference between the 45 and the 52? Because essentially that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the GSB and GSR 18V-45 being replaced with this new, also brushless model.
Yes.
So top line, what's the difference?
Top line, you're going to have to remind me that.
Well, it's more torque.
It is most of that, yeah.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Apart from that, smaller, a bit more torque, a little bit more soft torque as well. So generally you're looking at about 25 Newton meters of soft torque. That's going to give you, if you want to use rougher performance, you're going to look at about 35 millimeters in wood, because obviously that's going to be the main need for torque. Is going to be some softwood applications. So think self-cut speed bits or hole sawing, for example. If you've got some particularly large drill bits, then yes, 35 millimeters. But then you'll still get your 13 millimeter in metal and in brick.
That's quite impressive, really.
Okay, and that's in line with many of our entry-level machines. I must point out that just like the 45, this drill driver, and you'll see in a minute, the combi, they don't come with kickback control. Not on these models.
Just below the start of the kickback with 65.
Correct, yes. You could argue with the new 12-volt range, however, you know, you've got maybe after the 52, maybe then we might actually bring out a entry-level drill driver and combi with kickback control in the 18-volt range. But Dan's made that point. You're sport for choice, and obviously this model and the GSB equivalent, this is ideal for you if you're just looking for good quality, high-powered, lightweight, compact drill driver, but you don't want to spend too much money.
Regarding all the other bells and whistles, obviously you've got 2-speed, you've got the 20+1 gearbox, everything you've come to expect from any of the other drill drivers, or, as we've got over here,
let's do it,
combi drill as well. Very similar, obviously a little bit longer in length, but that's primarily because of the hammer mechanism on the combi version.
Okay, so just in case you don't know the names, now we've got our combi, so this is going to be the GSB 18V-52. So the difference between the two models, let's take the batteries off just for a second. You can see that the only difference is going to be the head length difference between a combi and a a combi and a drill driver.
That's only the difference between the mechanism there as well, the extra little ring. But it's still a 20 torque gearbox, but with the 3 functions of screwdriving, drilling, and you've got that percussion hammer on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot, as you know, with all our combis, a lot of the actual extra head length, which is part of the mechanism, is always going to be accommodated with the mode wheel anyway. So with the drill drivers, in case you aren't aware, you always adjust up to the drill mode to give you the 2 modes.
Yes.
And with a combi, you can always select the three different modes: screw driving, drilling, so max torque, and then you've got max torque with percussion. Yeah. Easy peasy. Yeah.
But just to mention as well, obviously we've got an all-metal chuck. I probably noticed that already. But again, a full metal 30mm maximum diameter chuck.
Okay, just going to double check my mic pack is working correctly. We'll keep going. So let me know whether or not there's any issues in the chat, ladies and gents, and I'll keep going. Maybe they're hoping, oh, Chris might shut up.
I was.
Oh, right. So 2 new combis that are essentially, we're just updating our entry-level range. A nice little upgrade, get a little bit smaller without any loss of power. In fact, you even get more torque. Remember, 52 Newton meters of that hard torque. But if you care about made-up torque numbers like some other people out there, then it also delivers a whopping 73 Newton meters of max torque. Okay, Ella, I think you might have some questions.
Yes, we do. So the first one is, someone has said, it's odd to me that the new 12-volt has kickback control, but this new 18-volt doesn't.
Different kind of kickback, funnily enough. We've got is it generation 2 kickback on the 12-volt?
I mean,
so it's an
that's making the case worse, because we're saying, yes, not only does this not have kickback, but 12-volt has generation 2 kickback. Yes.
It's to do with the applications as well, especially if you're using the 12-volt version in sheet steel, for instance, whereas it might, your high-speed steel drill bit may catch as you start, then that trips the fast kickback, or it twists you out of control, has to be under load for that to trigger, and then it will stop after an angular momentum has been reached.
Yeah. The reason here is quite simple. What we're trying to do with this particular product is we want a really good, cost-effective, affordable combi for those who don't want to spend too much money. Yeah. It's not necessarily about what's newer. Yes, this is a newer product, but obviously you're paying for that kickback control. We obviously would have to charge you if we put it into this machine, and we would rather reserve that for a machine that's not too different in both performance, but obviously is a little bit more expensive, and that allows us to add that kickback control for those people who are happy. And I will say, why wouldn't you, of course? But if you don't want to, then that's why we've got these 2 new models.
That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, we've always been with all of our ranges. Goodness, look at our grinder range, for instance. It's all about choices.
Any more questions, Ella?
I think that's just opened up quite a few more questions. So
Let's go for it. Let's come on.
Yeah.
Someone said, wow, when did I miss this? What's the difference between the first and second generation of kickback control?
Well, you need to go and watch one of our previous live streams where we talked about that particular product.
Yes.
When was it? Was it T1?
I think it was T1, yes.
It was T1 when we mentioned the FlexiClick version.
Yes.
And I think maybe it was back last year when we brought out the GSR 12 volt 18V to 12 volt -32.
32, yeah.
So the last 2 new live streams, where I think we definitely mentioned it.
Yeah.
We've
been requested to do a bit of a clarification video on the situations in which that occurs and what it's designed to do. Hopefully get that done soon and out online.
Yes.
Clear up a bit of the confusion.
Well, I'll tell you what, because you are right, but we are going to hold that video until May.
Right.
After May.
Oh, yes.
Because we're also going to do a sneak peek on some more 12 volt machines that also have that feature. So that video is worth waiting for, and we're allowed to sneak peek some products that won't be out until the end of the year. However, if you really want to talk about it, then hey, we'll add it to the list of questions that we're going to do on our next live stream, which is going to be Q&A based. So we'll actually probably maybe do a live demonstration to show you what is different about second generation kickback, why you have fast and slow, and how it actually works on our different machines. Because say for example, the GRD, our right angle 18 volt drill, doesn't do it the same way as the 12 volt.
No, there's a few different mechanisms on there as well.
So let's save that for the next live stream, which is Q&A, which is coming in a month.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool. Ella, any more questions? Are we looking good?
Last question for now is this drill smaller than the FlexiClick with the metal chuck?
Yeah, it'd be shorter. Yes.
If you talk about the 18 volt one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. This one, at least the GSR was 146. I'll have to double check my notes to see what the...
Yeah. Well, the...
Yeah, 146 for the combi.
So you'd have a machine that's that sort of size, and then on top of that, you'd have another collar and that. So yeah, it will be considerably longer.
It definitely is. I mean, these are the small... I can say that categorically because I know these are the smallest combis we currently make.
Yes.
So that's an easy answer. Okay, right, let's keep going. Let's get into some more products before we stop for some more questions. Because I think if you don't already have an entry-level combi, then this is definitely what I'd recommend. If you want to spend a little bit more money and you want some kickback protection, as Danny says, shoot for the 65, or even, maybe you might even want to go to the Expert Series.
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, next one you've got,
I've got this one here, yep. So, again, this is a little bit of a deceptive one because... when I first opened the box for this is the GSA 18V-280 Reciprocating Saw. I took one look at it and went, oh, that's small. And I think it's a bit of an optical illusion because I put it up against other machines and it's actually around about the same size.
It's it's deceptive because it has the same shape as you'd expect from a recip saw. However, it's definitely slimmer. It's got a little bit more girth, my favourite word of the week, in this aspect here. But the rest of the machine has a good profile. Yes.
Yeah, very comfortable to use. The grip area at the front here is small enough for smaller hands to use, and comfortable enough for larger hands to use as well. There's plenty of padding on there as well. It's it's a very compact, very lightweight, quite powerful little recip saw.
Yes. So. Slightly different naming structures from what we've had in the past, very, very slightly. And the only reason is because we've had a 28 model in the past.
We have, yeah.
So obviously the second value for the recip saw is going to be the stroke length. For those who, again, are fanboys, you'll know that our last bi-turbo recip saw
was
also
28.
a 28. So now we've got the 280, but it's exactly the same, 28mm stroke length.
Yes.
I have to pick up, I've got a frog in my throat.
Now this one isn't a bi-turbo machine.
No, it's not.
So you can run this on a lighter battery, or perfect for the Expert 4 amp hour battery as well for a little bit of extra punch, should we say? But
without bulk. Yeah, you're right.
we've set this up against the Bi-Turbo 28. In actual fact, I would say similar performance.
I mean, adjustable. Obviously, a flexing foot there. It doesn't adjust underneath. This is more of a rough machine.
Yeah.
With again a more affordable one, but without compromising on the performance.
Even the blade holder on this as well, which, although it doesn't have Philippe's thumb wing like the Expert product does, we do have a nice little lever in here to drop the blade out. So, have you got a blade there? Lovely.
Excuse me.
You got it? There you go. So you've got a little lever on the top there. You can pull that back like that. Obviously, you'd be wearing gloves.
Obviously.
And then that drops in. Not at this angle, it doesn't, but there you go. There you go. And that pops in like that. There you go.
Yes.
And to remove it again, thumb, pop the blade out, shake it out.
Yes, I mean, we're not trying to reinvent anything on this particular recip saw. So again, we are looking.
Yeah. Usually you stand behind the recip saw when you change the blade, not to the side of it. Not easy.
No. Lightweight, 2.5 kilograms. And obviously, where it comes to recip saws, obviously, with the length of blade, it's obviously usually limited to by how hard the material is or what you're cutting with. But obviously, you're able to run up to 250 millimeters.
That's the longest we do, I think.
That's right, yeah. If you're working in certain other materials, I maybe would recommend only going up to about 20 millimeters if you're working in steel, if you're doing cutting depth, for example. But
yeah, you use the little beluga ones that we do.
You'll be fine, yes. Now, I don't need to tell who's going to use it, but I can imagine there'll be quite a lot of plumbers and HVAC guys. If you're doing some ripping out work, a recip saw is always going to be useful. Don't forget, we've also got the compact recip saw, which I actually really champion as a really great tool for those kinds of trades. That's right, if you're trying to do a bit of work. But if you've got some heavy-duty demo work and you tear out a lot of stuff, you want a bit more power, and you're not having to worry about size and compactness, then this is a really great option to add to your tool bag.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So again, we call this now we call it life cycle management product. So we're adding this product to replace products that have gone or going obsolete. And this is going to be replacing a machine that is a bit more, older.
Older, yeah.
It's a little bit long in the tooth. And one of the things about that GSA 18 VLI...
VLI, yes. Or the vibrations on that were...
Yes, it was in excess of 22. And hey, it's fine. It's an old machine, and we've had it in the range for a very long time. So that needed to be replaced by a tool that feels a little bit more modern.
To be fair, when that was where that was first put together, that machine, people weren't really that bothered about vibration, I don't think. So again, it wasn't as much of a requirement on the job site than that it is now to keep the vibration down. You've got this one, haven't you?
That's it. I got this one right. Okay, so moving on to other kinds of cutting machines. Got this one, which is a brand new to the range product. So what I've got here is going to be the GPC 18V-32P. I was going to say in the chat, comments in the chat, what do you think it is? Well, so you can see that it is our Pro pipe shear. Yeah, pipe shear? We'll go for pipe shear.
Go pipe shear, pipe cutter.
Pipe cutter is the simple way of saying it, but yes, you're right. Pipe shear, pipe cutter. So, designed for cutting all kinds of pipe. Specifically, as you can see in the name, this is a P. So, pipe cutter plastic. That's how I look at it. So 18 volt, 32 P, 32 millimeter maximum diameter of plastic pipes.
I'll go for the approved materials if you like, because it isn't just P.
Yes,
it's not just plastic.
Multi-load.
We've got PEX, PE, PP, PB, PVDF, PVC, and multi-layer.
Now I normally just do the two: PVC, PEX, and multi-layer. I have no idea what half the other ones are. Well, if you know,
but it may be,
feel free in the chat to let me know.
It may be important to you.
It may be, if that's your kind of trade. One of the most important things for us, and again, I can only say this is the last time, as of the recording of this, but I'm sure someone out there might find that I'm slightly out of date, but I believe, at least the last time that we were talking to the engineers about this product, that I think we might be the first, or maybe among the first, that have brought a powered cutter that is able to do multi-layer pipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all to do with the shape of the blade and the amount of power that we can put behind it. But yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of it's to do with the blade itself, because it's made out of DC53 steel blade, and obviously that is a very tough, sharp, and also retains its edge really well. So that's why you need a durable blade that lasts a long time. So it's got a good lifetime. The machine, it has a nice set of functions as well. So first off, to switch it on, obviously the button on the bottom. Oh, you have to hold that, sorry. Makes a beep, and then you press it, and now the jaws open. This is it in its widest orientation, so that's for your up to 32 millimeters. However, if I cut to, let's test the overhead. Let's see if the overhead is working with us today. You'll see, hopefully, on the side of the tool, we have a little tool tip. And this says you can change the jaw size. So I will press the button on the bottom here twice, and then close the jaws. When I open the jaws, now we are at the smaller diameter, max of 20 millimeters. So that's ideal if you're working in, if you're doing a lot of cuts and you don't want to waste time with the jaws completely opening. So it makes the cutting process much quicker. Yeah,
if you're doing repeated cuts over and over again, maybe you're cutting lengths for multiple applications. For a set application, then yeah, very fast, a lot faster than waiting for obviously that jaw to go backwards and forwards.
Also I've got some flexible, well, yeah, I've got some plastic pipe here.
Pecs, yeah.
Pecs, I put it in the smaller diameter, in the smaller size, so we can see again just how quickly and how easily. You have to press the button each time you cut for safety, of course. But you can see, effortless, doesn't overly compress the pipe, so you don't have to worry about reseating it. Or,
typically, you'd put an insert in there to make the union anyway, but
you don't have. It's less work, less damage to the pipe, especially if you're using multi-layer, where you've got the metal in there that could be more seriously deformed if you've got manual hand cutters. But really, what we're talking about here is having to go away from doing things with manual hand cutters, which is both slow and can get pretty boring pretty quick if you're having to do loads and loads of cuts.
So for instance, if you're doing like sink waste, for instance, 32 millimeters or the wider opening angle is absolutely perfect for that, and it glides through that like nobody's business.
Yeah, okay. Right, so I think Ella might have some questions from the chat, and I mean, to be honest, for the most part, we have covered all we need to do with this machine, because it is pretty straightforward in what it does, and if you are HVAC plumber, if you're working in lots of plastic pipes, then I don't think I need to sell this too hard to you. You know exactly what this is solving for you. So Ella, any questions?
Yep, someone has asked, can you stop the cut halfway releasing the trigger, or is it just one shot?
Yeah, you don't let... Hopefully that explains it.
Yes.
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 Okay, perfect. Someone has asked, what is the life cycle of the blade?
What are you cutting? What diameter?
Yeah.
As you can imagine, that multi-layer pipes will wear the blade faster because it's got more it's got metal in it.
But saying that, it's a user replaceable blade. You can buy it as a spare part and pop it straight in there. And of course, it is only one blade. So again, it's not like it's not like a shear where you'd have to replace both blades. It's just the one.
No, I remember this. If you saw our teaser, where we were obviously, Dan and I were explaining that we were in Leinfelden for the entire week.
Yes.
And we had some time with a lot of the product managers with the products that we're looking at today and also in the future. That was one of the questions I posed, because one of the things that differentiates this tool from many of its competitors is that tool steel, that DC53 steel. Many others use a cheaper, not cheaper, a
alternative,
Yes. Well, I'll say a lesser steel. Maybe they're using D2 steel, for example, and obviously that does not have the same lifetime. So I actually said to the product manager at the time, I said, please, can you quickly do a quick test and see if you can find some equivalent so I can have some information? Because I knew you were going to ask that, but they hadn't done the test yet. But when I do get that information, I will share it with you, because I know it's going to be higher. We would just like to be able to quantify exactly what the benefit is.
Even if it's just a percentage, we need to we need to have that proper life cycle tested and come at you with the best, most accurate information.
I mean, as you said, this machine is, at least we're saying this machine is the only one at the moment that is working with multi-layer. Then in theory, to make it a fair equivalent test, we'd want to use something like PEX and comparing our competitors' blades against our blades on PEX. But maybe it would be a lot of cuts.
Yes.
And maybe that poor product manager has better things to do in his weekend and sitting there cutting
Australia.
hundreds, if not thousands of cuts.
Yes.
Ella, any more questions, please?
Yes, 2 more questions for now. So Dave has asked, is the jaw replaceable so you can cut 40mm pipe?
Right, do you want to do the you should not modify your tools?
Yes, basically we can't recommend any sort of modification on any of our tools, obviously, because it doesn't comply with the safety norms that have been applied to that tool post-manufacture. Red tape.
Yeah, and whether the tool, you know, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on the tool, not designed to do that type of diameter.
Exactly. So we can't recommend that, no. We won't be doing an alternative jaw, like at the bottom here, that will take a larger pipe. So 32mm max. That's the official line.
Now, I can't remember whether or not there were plans. I feel like that there was a discussion to make a machine that did bigger pipes.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely convinced there was, but luckily I can't remember, so I can't tell you anything that I'm not supposed to, other than I'm pretty sure that this, not pretty sure, I know that this tool is not going to be where we stop when it comes to pipe processing.
No. Now, even when it comes to almost like drain pipes or even up to soil pipes, that sort of thing, would be lovely to have something that would do that. Because again, that's a job that some people do find quite tricky.
How about copper pipes? Yes, that would be nice
that
too.
would be fantastic.
So, as
I didn't even go with copper,
no,
but you are.
But you're right. We cannot ignore the most obvious thing in the room, which is copper pipes as well.
We do pipe press tool.
we need something to cut the pipe.
Yeah, we need something to cut the pipe as well, obviously. Yeah.
Right, Ella, please, any more questions?
I think you might have answered the last question. It was about, are we getting a bigger size to this in the future? What about copper and aluminium tubing version of this?
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's just say we're looking very closely at it. I don't think you'll be cutting copper with a cutter like this. No. Instead, it will be something you may have seen.
You won't get any water through it if you did. Yeah, but we were obviously over in Europe. They tend to do quite a lot of stainless steel tubing as well.
Yes.
So a cutter would be nice. I mean, if you can do stainless.
I did ask that. I think that might just be a little bit beyond
maybe a few
everyone.
years.
I think beyond everyone at the moment to do stainless steel. Even cutting that manually seems to be the only solution.
Very, very thick tubing.
Yes, that's right. But no, I mean, correct.
It would be nice to
have. Bear with us. We are going to have a really good comprehensive range of HVAC machines, including some metal pipe cutters for sure. Can't tell you too much because there isn't anything to tell you other than, yes, we know. Thank you, Ella. Right. And thank you whoever asked that question. Now, over to you again, Dan. I think this is something we know people have been asking for. You think you've got it behind you on the back?
Yes, I have. I'll grab this.
We had many people in the chat, many people on our social media channels saying, why don't you bring out XYZ, this? And this particular item was on the list, wasn't it, Dan?
It certainly was. So this is the GKO 18V-51. Now, I've been waiting for this for quite some time. I've kept it no secret that I come from the automotive industry originally. A compressor is vital for that. So we have a 18-volt single battery cordless air compressor. Yeah, lovely little bit of kit. Loud enough for me to drown Chris out during a video.
I was faking it. But I could have easily drowned it out.
Yeah, you certainly could have done.
Yes, remind me the decibels on that because I know. I think it's. Is it? Oh no, this one doesn't have the label. This one doesn't have the label. Yeah. But I think it's something we can check out. But I can tell you, I could drown it out. So it's
not actually that loud. It's quite a reasonable sound, really. I haven't got a battery in it at the moment, but you have. All right, we'll start off on the side here. So here we have a switch at the top. This is I believe the two pressure switch, and we have a switch underneath that. This is obviously the on-off switch. Here we have a 4-bar and an 8-bar switch. So that will limit the pump, the pressure that the pump will fill the canister underneath. If you switch it to 8, for instance, you can use this gauge here, will read off the pressure in the tank, and you can adjust the delivery pressure using this control here, and that's indicated on the second dial there.
Yeah. Luckily for me, Ollie's squirreled away in the background, found out that it's 85 decibels. I can easily smash 85 decibels.
Yes. Yeah.
So
usually with inane things.
Easily, yes. So yeah, not too loud as well. And again, that's what we want. We wanted to come out with a really nice compact air compressor.
Yeah.
We're not trying to go high volume, are we?
No, not at all. 51 litres per minute, hence the name 51. And that's at 6 bar pressure.
So 2 options, you said 4 and 8.
4 and 8, yep.
And a tank of 4.5 litres, I believe.
Yeah. And completely oil free as well. Obviously, people are going to be interested in that. No servicing required on this, other than the tiny air filter on the side here. Obviously, we'll want to prevent getting any sort of debris, detritus into the pump mechanism at the top here. So if you pop the side cap off there, it comes up with a little pod. Undo the top. And it is probably the tiniest pleated filter I've seen. There you go. So air filter in there for you.
I believe the recommendation for a compressor of this type is when you're not using it, you don't store it with air in it. You should empty it.
You'll find
you get the condensation. You don't want to damage the inside of the tank.
It will quite often corrode the inside of the tank and end up compromising that. And that's the last thing.
And you'll know there's moisture in the air because when you vent that, if you vent it quite quickly, you'll end up shooting like icicles at people. Yeah. Not recommended. Have done it. Hey. It's 4.5 litre tank. It won't take any time to refill that up again. So when I mean time, I'm saying it's seconds. So as long as you keep it empty, this will last a very, very long time. Empty when stored or when you're not using it. When you're finished doing your application, just quickly vent it and we'll get many, many years out of that.
Yeah. So lots of applications for pin nailing, anything like that. So even if you are still using air power tools, plenty of power in this. It's not heavy to carry around. Super light, in fact.
9 kilos, is it? 9.5 kilos. Yeah. So nothing at all. I mean, this is the kind of thing I think people have been asking for. I think many people might have been asking for as well something that is more akin to what we've got in our DIY range, such as a small tyre pump. Yeah. This will be sufficient for it, but I can imagine that you would want one of those as well.
Exactly, yeah.
A little handheld or portable tyre pump, but again, we wanted to come out with something a little bit more universal to start with. Yeah,
quite often it's about testing the market and seeing what sort of numbers it's worth making these sort of things in, isn't it really? But we know there's definitely a requirement for a Schrader type or car tyre valve inflator in the Pro range, obviously because of the HVAC engineers maybe servicing boilers, testing pressure vessels or refilling pressure vessels. So they need an inflator with a really long tube that they can get onto that valve at the back of the unit. But of course, yes, it's obviously they know about it over in Germany and they're working towards putting one together.
Yeah. So I'm just having a quick look. There's a question there from, I think it's Alexander, isn't that right? Alexander K772. And he's just asking about a competitor's compressor. So I'm just going to have a quick look at that one while we're finishing this section, just to see what the real difference is. I mean, I understand that we've come out with this to fit a specific needs. Yeah, okay, I understand what you mean. That's what we're discussing in regards to something that's a bit more like our DIY range, our universal
pump.
Yeah. Agreed. We're in agreement. It would be nice to have something that's a little bit more, not specialised, but for those smaller range of tasks. Without a tank. Yes. Agreed. Okay, fine. Okay, right. So, well, actually, I don't know. Have we got any questions in there? I think. Come on, Ella. Let's do a few before we move on.
So, quite a few people are wondering why we didn't bring out a silenced air compressor.
Yes, good point. Something maybe for the future. Bring something down to like maybe your 50 decibels would be nice.
Sure.
But again, as we said, this is a first product in the cordless compressor range. We'll have to see what comes in the future.
Yeah, I saw something there just popped up. Hello from South Africa. That's nice. Will it fit in a nail box? Not even. I don't think that's maybe a size 4.
Size 4, yeah. I think that'll fit in a size 4.
Haven't tested, but that looks about right. Ella, sorry, yes, I'm doing your job, aren't I? I'm being nice to Ella. I was being nice to Ella because it's her last day. Yeah. I should have said that to the chat, but you're already being nice to Ella, so that's good. Any more questions, please?
Someone's asked if it's compatible with the L-Box Contractor.
Yeah.
You can put it on top.
Well, no, it'll definitely go.
No, I think
it might go into the middle one. To be honest, it'll definitely go in the bottom one.
Yes,
absolutely,
100%.
Maybe it'll go in the middle box.
I think you might be pushing it with because it's got the welded loop on the top there.
Yeah, it'll definitely fit in the bottom one. I say definitely. Maybe if we've got time in this live stream,
no,
we'll
I think
have a quick look.
I think it'll fit.
Yeah. After we do the products that are on top of it.
Yes.
And we'll have a
Give
look.
that a go.
We'll have a look inside. Good question. Any other, Ella?
And last question for now, will there be accessories coming out for the air compressor, like a paint sprayer or turbo nozzle for car detailing?
I would hope so.
I'd hope so too.
No, even if it's just a simple airline or an inflator or a blower nozzle, something like that would be absolutely perfect. Not in the back of the user manual. We usually put our accessories in the back of the user manual with some part numbers in there, but I've only, as this is only a marketing sample, we haven't had the real one delivered to us yet. The instruction booklet with the marketing sample is usually a front cover and a back cover and not a lot in the middle.
Yeah.
So
well, my inkling
we'll
would
have to
be,
check.
I
would hope so.
Yeah, but my inkling here is always going to be, let's see how well this sells. If there's a big enough market for us, then maybe that's something we can offer. But
there is a vast market out there already
Exactly.
that you can buy into. And obviously, it's not like a battery platform that you have to be dedicated to Bosch. I'm sure you can go and find a
yeah, and it's fair to say that if I was trying to put if we did put a certain range of accessories, then you lot would say, oh, but you don't do this one on this one and this one, and then we're a power tool manufacturer, not an air compressor accessory manufacturer. So I think we would struggle a little bit. But hey, it's a valid point, and I think it's something that we should definitely look forward to asking the product managers where they aim on going in regards to a much wider range of compressors in general.
Yeah.
Great, good questions. Last one, is that Ella? Should we go on? Okay, right. I think, unfortunately, Dan, this is on your side as well.
I think it is. I'm going to pop this one back.
Right, so I'll preamble a little bit.
Oh, you buried this one, didn't you?
I like how Dan blames me.
Always.
We have got quite a great heritage, haven't we, Dan, in regards to not only rotary hammers, but also our breakers, our straight chisels, our GSHs. Typically in our GSH range, we typically name it basically like the weight of the machine, and we've had some real classics. And this one, or the original one predecessor to this, the 5 kilo, has always been a very popular model.
Yes, so this is the GSH 5 MX.
The 5MX.
MX standing for max.
Yes. Why? Because we already had a 5.
Yes, exactly. We've got a 5 and a 5 CE.
Yes.
So this is the MX.
Right. So I'll be brief on this one because I don't think I need to hard sell Bosch hammers or breakers.
It's a 5 kilo breaker. It's really comfortable to use. The vibration is super low compared to the previous models.
Yes.
Even the side handle, it's just a lot more comfortable.
I was just going to say, like, I'm fully aware that if you need to break something or drill a big hole in something, then I'm very happy to say that Bosch is often somewhere very high on the list. Even if you have other brands, shame on you, but even if you have other brands, you still will often reach for a Bosch hammer or a Bosch breaker because, again, it's the thing that we have been making probably the longest.
It's probably worth mentioning as well, unlike a lot of the things that you see here on the Bosch Professional live stream, it has one of these.
Yes.
We do still make them, obviously. We make a lot of them, cordless machines, corded machines. Sometimes cordless is not as convenient as corded.
Well, sometimes it's not, especially if you have a.
If you're using it all day.
Hey, we've got the GSH 18V 5 kilo. So
yes,
that's what you. So again,
that's a lovely machine as well.
It's an equivalent, but
very efficient.
you still do require the mains machine for those really long applications that take a lot of time and effort. So compact machine, relatively, there's not a lot. I say not a lot to it in a good way. It's nice and compact and slim. You're delivering 7.8 joules of energy, so again, makes short work of even the toughest applications. The tool holder, as you can imagine, is still going to be SDS Max, as Dan points out, it's MX. Okay. However, we've done a slight change to design, I believe, which is that if you want to rotate the accessory, in this case, you push this forward. If you can do that for me, Dan, just on the table, and then twist the bit for me.
Oh, right, twist a bit. You give me a flat chisel. Nope.
Oh, sorry. No, I'll hold it. I'll hold it less useful for.
Yours, yeah.
Why is my variable not working on that one? Or maybe I have to adjust it. Maybe I have to run it once. Anyway, great demo. Variable rotation is via this wheel, this ring here, and that you push forward, allowing you then to disengage the drive, and then you can rotate the accessory, which I haven't helped Dan with by using a point chisel.
Yeah. It has to be said as well, we've got a couple of these marketing samples, because this is obviously not the real model. Try and take some of the heat off it, Chris.
Mate, yep.
One of our sales guys also did struggle with it, and he did find he had to use it first. Obviously, this being super clean, we haven't used it.
No, I'm gonna get fixated on that throughout the live stream. So every now and then you'll see me turn around,
grunting in the corner.
Yeah, and then give it a little kick, and that'll be fine. Okay, anything other information? No, I don't think we need to, because actually, really, what I want to do is I want to talk about the internals of this product, which is one of the most important things that we do always, is make sure that we think of health and safety front and foremost. And when it comes to applications that involve breakers, then obviously that's going to be primarily vibration.
Yeah, you don't have obviously kickback because there's nothing rotating. So our sort of highest level of awareness goes into vibration, because obviously that's what you're going to feel most of this machine.
So for a lightweight machine, we still want to make sure we can try and keep the vibrations low. Obviously, with heavier machines, the vibrations are typically absorbed by the weight of the machine as well, or obviously compensating for the probably increased amount of vibration. But looking at about 15 meters per second squared when in application is allowing you to at least work longer than you would be able to when running a machine with much higher halves. Okay, that's partly due to a number of internals that were changed on this machine, Dan.
Yes, they've increased the mass of the front buffer at the front of the tool holder here. So obviously that takes away a lot of the impact from the actual chisel passing through it. Again, they call this the first ring. And there is a second ring as well, you'd be glad to know. And that is within the gearbox as well. So on the end of the shaft that fits in here, you've obviously got a tube, striker, piston. On the back of the piston, there is another rubber ring, and that prevents the reverb of that striker going up and down that the bore inside there at quite phenomenal speeds, impacting you directly into your hands as well. So again, it's got, imagine a pillow at either end that cushions the blow. So that takes away a lot of the impact, but doesn't stop the impact from the end of the chisel.
Do you know what? I was thinking, while you were saying that, I was gonna be really, really boring and nerdy and talk about the reflection point, but I'm gonna resist.
Oh no, yeah, we can talk about the reflection point if you like. I know how you feel about
another
it.
time. We'll leave it for the Q&A, because I think I want to get my little whiteboard out. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to explain how the Bosch Artec, and obviously the accessory that we've got on here, which is going to be our 9C chisel. But I want to draw it now.
Yeah, we've covered the reflection point before, but
yeah, but not with drawings. I want to get my lab coat out, and I want to get my pen. I want to draw arrows.
Right. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So tune in next time
for that bad boy. I've lost half the audience.
Yes.
Or maybe I've gained double. Okay, right. So comparisons between this and the previous model, which was the GSH5. Again, we've had that machine in the range for a very long time.
Yes.
But what we got is a bit more energy, so 7.5 now up to 7.8 joules, so more powerful with this new machine. And again, a lot of what we've done is on the outside and inside to make this machine even more durable. So, okay. Ella, I don't think anyone is particularly enamored with this. Is anyone got any questions on this particular product?
Yeah, someone was actually really excited about it. They said, I've been waiting for this so much, but they have said, why is there still no speed control?
Why is there no speed control? Is it something you really need on a straight chisel?
Yeah. I can understand it on a rotary drill, but I suppose unless you're trying to break material up around something that's a bit fragile, so you don't want to maybe chip a ceramic pipe or something like that, then yes, it would be necessary. But I think for the vast majority of people, if they want to break something, they want to break it and get the job done as quick as possible. So they tend to go for maximum. But good question, very good question.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this one does not have a speed control on it. No variable trigger.
Okay.
A few people have also said that they'd like to see a bigger hammer. People have said we need a 27 kg hammer.
Well, Do they mean cordless as well?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it will be very nice. There are only a few companies manufacturing them currently, but it would be lovely to get our GSH 27 VC.
But what is the
cordless version?
what is the wattage on that? Do you know?
Oh,
Off the top of your head, it's been a while since we've talked about that. But it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's the only issue. It is a lot.
I mean, it's still running off a single phase though, so it plugs into a standard 13 amp socket.
I would argue that now with our expert batteries,
Yeah.
and you'll see some of the tools that we're able to
It'll obviously be a multi-battery setup.
Yeah.
You might be looking at least a twin battery.
But
I reckon it's like 2,500 watts, something like that. I'll have to check though, but it's going to be in that sort of ballpark. It won't be 3,000 because that's a little bit too high.
Yes.
For most people's outlets.
Yes. Well, I know it's a project that the Hammer project managers are very keen to get started. I don't think they're going to start with something like a 27, but they are definitely looking to go bigger than what they currently have, which is the 5 kilos. So maybe they'll go try and do 11.
Maybe 11 or a 16.
Yes.
16's nice.
The 16
it was always a good machine.
The 16 will be a
Gordon.
right place to go.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously as an entry-level hex model.
Yes.
Hex shank, yeah.
28 maybe, yeah.
Good question. Okay, Ella, any more?
And one more question for now. I think someone was just a little confused. They've said, so there's no anti-vibration on the handle anymore, but it's now inside.
It's inside, yeah, it's internal. So at the end of the shaft that moves backwards and forwards, we've got buffers on the end, both at the far end and at the closer end, to mitigate that impact reaching you through there anyway. You'll quite often find, obviously, the machine, the guts of the machine sit separate from the housing of the machine as well on buffers anyway. So there's an awful lot in there mitigating that vibration getting back to you. I believe there's a counterweight as well, but I'll have to look into that. But there's a lot in there to take care of you.
Okay, cool. On to the next machine, which I just quickly grabbed. So we're going on to a very famous tool being replaced. Yes. Oh, replaced?
No.
Yeah.
Superseded?
Superseded, yes. So if you are
one
familiar,
of my favourites when it comes to straight hammers.
Right. So if you're familiar with the 11 kilo and you're a big fan of it, then you're going to like this new version of it. So this is the GSH 11, but this is now the EV model.
Yeah, instead of the E, which was there before.
What does V stand for? Well, as you can imagine, this is a vibration reduction or a lower vibration model. So this has additional things like the previous machine to help reduce the maximum amount of vibrations. Wow, 11 kilos. It's a max power energy or joules is going to be just under 17, so 16.8 joules.
Yep.
It's a good bit of kit.
1,890 beats per minute as well, so goes like the clappers.
That's right, yes. Basically the equivalent of, well, not an equivalent, it is a 1,500 watt machine. So, I mean, really what we want to do, because we don't want to spend too much time on talking about, we don't need to say too much because the predecessor was already well respected. I mean, I quite like the fact that we have kept the styling.
I like the retro styling of it. I do.
I mean, I don't know whether or not
I would miss it if it went the old 11.
I feel like the styling of the 11 goes all the way back to what? 80s?
80s, yeah.
It's the 80s blocky look. But I do like it.
I do like
it. Even the trigger system on the back.
Yeah. Originally, that's probably one of the things I noticed about this, taking it out of the box. Is like, oh, we've got another 11. It has a red switch instead of a grey switch, which lets you know that it's the new one.
Speed control. Where is it on this one? It's on the other side. Is it?
Down
there. It is.
Yep.
So if you want speed control, well, yes, maybe it would be nice to have it on the 5, but heck, it is available. You just have to go a little bit more Gucci.
I think you got the light below that as well, haven't you?
Yes, here.
Yeah, that's your service light as well. Yeah. So if if that light starts flickering, it means your brushes are running out. When it comes on and stays on, you'll find the machine will stop, and that means you've got to change the brushes. It's fairly straightforward. Fairly analog, should we say?
Yes. Now the 11 kilo was a bit of a beast. It's a little bit long in the tooth. A lot of power, but obviously that came with high vibrations. What we have achieved with this is by reducing the level by about 25%. So you're moving from about 20 meters per second down to, again, 15 meters per second. So again, it's in line with the 5 kilo now. The advantage of reducing the vibration level from 20 to 15 isn't just a minor amount, because the amount of vibration you get is
it's exponential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not getting 25% better, longer runtime or hands-on time. You're getting a lot more. I'm just going to double check my numbers here, because I think we're looking at, you're moving from 7 minutes action value time, so every 7 minutes with the old 11 kilo or any other machine that's running about 20 meters per second, then that's when you should take a rest, reevaluate the accessory, the application, etc. And then after about 30 minutes, okay, that's you done for the day. Okay, with the machine running about 20 meters per second.
You're on T duty.
That's right, yes. With something which is now running as little as 15 meters per second, then you can almost double your time. 13 minutes for your action value, and then 53 minutes is your limit value. So essentially, we're looking at almost double.
Almost double, yeah.
Right? And that's just from reducing the vibration by 5 meters per second. So if you are someone who cares about your health and safety, is there anyone in the chat that cares about their health?
Or you've got someone that you work with a clipboard who cares about your safety.
Right. Or you're that person with the clipboard. Then you obviously know how important that is. Here on the live stream, Dan and I have spent the last 4 years being really, really, is militant the word I want to use? No, we're going to use the word caring. Yes, we've cared hard, really hard.
Forcibly.
About your health when it comes to dust, silica dust, and other carcinogens. Hey, hands and arm vibration, I don't know, I can't say it's less important, more important, equally important. Because
it's as much of a danger long term as short term. It really is.
That's right, yes. Okay, right, health and safety hat off.
Yeah, hang that up.
Yeah, great tool, lots of power with less vibration. What's there not to like? Okay, Ella, any other questions, or we move on to another machine?
No specific questions on this tool, but someone has asked me to tell you guys. They said that the best method for me for over a decade is adjusting pressure on a button. They said, I know it's a bit off topic, but they just wanted me to let you know.
Adjusting pressure on the what?
On a button, any button, in fact. The tendency, I think, for most people is to press buttons too hard. I mean, obviously that pressure is going to, I think that's, you coin the phrase, white finger, because that's quite often used with tools anyway, where you're gripping them really hard, and that's giving you the vibration and the damage to the blood vessels. But yeah, pressing a button, something as simple as pressing a button can also cause that issue with burst blood vessels. So yeah.
I mean, and again, this is the thing. This is why I love it. This is why I like the live stream, guys. Because even just a minor comment like that really gets me thinking about lots of different things. Because you say, okay, well, you have to grip the machine tighter, and if you grip the machine tighter, then you're going to increase the amount of vibration that you're going to receive.
It's like the anti-vibration gloves, isn't it? Here's some anti-vibration gloves.
Now
you're wearing gloves, you grip harder so you don't drop the machine.
And that's another reason, because we don't mention that. That's one of the reasons why many of our machines, we're always thinking about ergonomics.
Yes.
If we make a tool better balanced, more comfortable, you don't have to grip it as hard. And then as a secondary effect, that means that the vibrations you're receiving aren't as high. On top of the fact that it actually feels like a nicer machine to use as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all connected. And I was having one of those magical moments where I was like, everything works. Everything's all the stars are aligning. But yeah, it's all connected, and it's all part of quite a very long process. And we get criticised a lot. And I think it's fair in many cases where they say, why does it take Bosch so long to make a tool? And it's because every stage is thought about. Even something as simple as handles on top, right? We're going to talk about transverse handles in a minute.
Yes.
But even things about the orientation of handles, is they spend a long time checking, proving, double checking whether or not they can make something better.
Or the amount of money or capital that's gone into the perfect trigger pressure. Lots of companies spend a lot of money on perfect trigger pressure.
Wow. So, on the topic of comfortable and ergonomic, yet powerful, I'm going to bring out a tool that looks familiar, and to a degree it should look familiar.
So, hang on a minute. We showed you one of these last one.
That's right, yeah. So let me get in position. So, you've seen one like this before, but there's a slight difference.
Well, the issue was before we had a corded wall chaser, the old GNF. And people wanted a wall chaser. However, we gave them a cordless wall chaser. So there's some people that go, I wanted a corded one.
Well, good.
It's a corded one.
There you go. There it is. Right. Okay. So GNF 20-40.
Yes.
You are right, people out there. You went, oh, but I still wanted a corded wall chaser because wall chasers are hungry, hungry hippos.
And a lot
they take a lot of power, don't they?
And a lot of the time, you're indoors.
Yep.
Maybe fitting out a room right next to a plug socket.
Now,
you can plug it in.
Yeah, so, hey, I think that the GNF 18V-40 is a great machine.
Yes.
Now, runtime, obviously, depends on what batteries you're running. And you could argue that even with the largest batteries, you are limited. Of course you are. You're running a battery platform.
Yes.
But you've got all the pros that you don't have to worry about running a cord. However, when you have no choice or you have the ability, especially if you're running a lot of channels or cabling or whatever you're doing, then now you have the corded variant. What's the difference? Well, a little bit more power. So we're up to 2,000 watts as opposed to the 1,900 watts corded equivalent from the 18 volt.
Not a lot in it.
Not a lot.
My favourite item from this though is obviously with a cord. If you haven't invested in an 18 volt M-class vacuum and you're still using your 35 M-class vacuum or one of the later 1240 M-class vacs, you can plug this into the front of the vac that you've got, the mains one. And there you go.
Yeah.
Full solution.
I see already. Not sure about the orientation of the cable. Now, you might have noticed on the 18 volt one, I think we hinted at this before, that, oh, what's this thing for? Well, it was basically teasing the fact that we knew that there was a corded variant coming out. So yes, the corded cable should not be an issue because it's going to run probably in line with your dust extraction hose, and that's probably going to plug hopefully into the front of your Bosch Professional GAS. Yeah,
we talked in Germany about maybe running the cable alongside the tube, maybe some Velcro straps or something there to keep it all out of the way.
Yeah, concerns about extra strain on the cable. It might look like it to you, but it's
quite a stiff rubber grommet there that prevents
just the right amount of spacing there.
The grommet here, the rubber grommet, prevents it from getting really strained over.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're not going to suffer there, but at the same time, I think we've been very clever and very, very precise actually in that cable and how much slack there is and how it routes directly. Yeah,
primarily it goes that direction out of the machine to keep it away from the transverse handle at the back as well, so you're not tangling yourself up in it should you change direction or change angle that you're approaching the wall at.
Now, the main specs are very much the same as the 18 volt one. So as I said, you've got a little bit more power at 2,000 watts. You're still able to run up to a maximum depth of 40 millimeters with a maximum cutting width of 39 millimeters. So I don't need to tell you too much if you're already aware of the 18 volt one. Still runs on and has two 150 millimeter blades. 125 millimeter, 150 millimeter Pro multi-material diamond blades as part of the scope of supply.
Yes.
And obviously, I'd always recommend that you replace them with the equivalent because these are great blades. However,
they come in the packaging as well, so you've got the part numbers and everything, both written on the blades and on the packaging. So
yeah, of course. Unless, of course, you are working in a different medium, and then obviously we have the specialised 150, thank you, millimeter blades designed for that. So if you're working in marble or stone, then you can choose that. But if you're typically going to be working in concrete and rebar reinforced concrete, then the blades that come with it are the right ones for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you want me to put them on?
Shall we chat? Let's have a look. Would anyone like us to show how the blade fitment mechanism works? While we're waiting to see if anyone wants to see us put blades on, because we have prepared for it. I did insist that we do, because don't let me down, chat. I said to Danny, they definitely want to see it. They're going to go, nah.
He made me prep for it.
Yeah, fine.
trying to guilt trip you.
But on the side here, okay, that unlocks the mechanism. Obviously, it's on the desk, so you can see it actually goes a lot further, so don't worry about that. Okay, the catch on the top, literally lift it towards you, and it opens up, and then you can see the inside. You can see the tool fitment. Now, you'll see a number of, well, I call them spacers or tensioner parts. Yeah, spacers. Yeah. And you'll see for this one, as opposed to the other one, I believe, because that one came with a SDS quick tightening nut, but these ones come with the SDS click nut. Yeah. I'm convinced the 18 volt comes with the quicker one.
Yes, I think it's the quick one, yeah. But...
Okay, don't forget, you also get your little, no expenses spared, boys and girls. Give you a little splitting tool in case you are paused and you don't have one. And so spacers, so obviously that allows you to space the blades in between the different spaces, so you can change the cutting width.
The spacing of the blade.
I feel like I'm teaching you all to suck eggs, and I really am, aren't I? So let's have a look. Anyone else? No, triple blade, right? Yes.
Yes.
Bear in mind that the blade is not the machine; it's a separate accessory. I would like to see. I would probably want to at some point do a comparison, because I've heard rumours, and again, let me know in the chat whether or not you have a triple blade system from another brand. There's only one. And what you think of the performance on that one. Even though that machine is also corded, I've heard rumours that sometimes it's a bit difficult to, it's a bit heavy on duty on the machine, and it does bog down sometimes. However, that hasn't stopped our product teams from looking very closely at finding a Bosch equivalent accessory. Again, a fixed triple layer blade for our machines as well.
The issue we've got actually is because the blades are a different thickness. Actually, they're quite thin as opposed to the spacers. So if you were to take a spacer out, for instance, then the mechanism wouldn't tighten enough down to get that 3-blade system in there as well. And we've officially been told, don't try it. As in, we're trying it, don't try it yourself.
Yeah, but that, as I said, it's my belief is that the alternative out there in the market is not 3 blades. It is a specific single accessory, all fixed like that. Hey, it's completely possible that we could just sell
an accessory to go on it.
We could just sell a spacer that takes up the difference.
But
that requires a machine that we feel is suitable to be able to run an accessory running those 3 blades. And I think maybe we're not quite there yet, but we can see that it's very popular in the market because it makes your job a lot quicker.
Well, it would only be a retrofit anyway. It wouldn't be like having to wait for an entire new tool or anything like that.
Yeah, it's true. Let's have a look. No, it looks like they're mostly discussing the alternative blade systems out there. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate you finding me blades, but they're not bothered, I'm afraid. I thought it was fun. I enjoy doing it. It's very cathartic. I was going to take it as a break. Only last things I want to point out, which is the fact that the actual mechanism is sprung. So let me spin that around. It's sprung, so you don't need to press a lever or anything. You just depress the machine and overcome the tension of the spring. And if you see on this side, just like on the 18 volt, you have a little turret with depth stop, so you can limit the maximum depth. You've got little indications marking around the outside showing you exactly what your depth of cut is. Really straightforward. I don't think I need to spend too much time talking about it. They're good machines. They're very effective, and more importantly, I'm personally just glad we've got wall chasers in the range, finally, after many, many years. More than 20.
Now we've got 2.
20s, and now we've got 2. Maybe we've got more to come. Right. Ella, while we reset, what do you reckon? Have we got anyone asking any questions? Or are they just discussing the pros and cons of wall chasing blades?
Yeah, they're discussing pros and cons by the looks of it at the moment in the chat.
Okay, so Dan, I think you might have this one in a small little bag.
I do. I have the bag here, and I was quite surprised that it actually comes in a bag as well.
Or at least the marketing sample did.
The marketing sample did. I hope that it does come in this little bag as well, because it's really quite nice and compact. I'm going to take these out. Might be a bit of a giveaway as to what's in here, but there you go. So this is the GPX 9-125S spot repair polisher. Lovely little machine, really nice grip circumference on here, and it comes with one of those, much like the last 2 machines that we've looked at. I do hope it comes with a bag though, because that's actually quite a nice size bag for these.
The workwear Kang is going
one of those.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's definitely not a small M bag, L bag, S bag.
No, M bag.
Maybe that's a hint that there's something new coming up.
Maybe. I had to point out the fact that I've committed the cardinal sin here of any person who uses a polisher and putting it pad down on the table. Yeah,
it's lucky this is relatively clean.
Yes, relatively. So yeah, 125mm diameter spot polisher. This is fitted currently with the soft pad for buffing, but we also have the 125mm cutting pads that Chris has just put away, which also are fitted onto this machine with Velcro. So 900 watts of input on power on this. Plenty for spot repairs. I mean, they were talking on this about having a timer, so you're not overcutting on paint. But I think currently this doesn't have it, so you can rely on your intelligence out there to know when you're applying too much pressure. It's a specialised machine.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
speed control on this, in fact, is super simple. We've actually put the RPM on here as well, instead of just increasing and decreasing numbers. So we actually have a far better way of selecting the correct speed, because of course when it comes to polishing or cutting, you don't want to go too heavy-handed with it.
Well, that's something that maybe we could spend a little bit more time on, because this now fills out a brand new range of polishers. We hopefully, if you've watched some of the previous live streams, I think we may only have had one of them available on display.
We had the 11.
Yeah, we launched two. We've launched the GPO 11 180S as well as the GPO 14-180S, so 180 millimeter pads.
Both of those were rotary as well. They weren't a random orbit such as this one. So this is a random orbital.
But I mentioned that because they also have the same marks, speed wheel, so you always know what your machine is running at any one time. So I think it's just something to say, look, these new generation machines all share a similar language in regards to how we set the machine up. I mean, other than the fact that it's a nice, lightweight, comfortable machine with good low vibrations, which is what you'd expect.
2.5 kilos, really quite lightweight. Nice, comfortable front handle as well. So obviously it keeps your hand out of the way of what you're doing. If you're using it like this, you've got good access, good visibility of actually how you're cutting, and you're not getting in the way of it. It's got the ability to fit side handle on it as well. We didn't get one in our marketing sample kit, but I'm assuming you'll be able to purchase one to fit in this as well. There's just got a couple of blanking plates there at the side.
Okay, so I'm getting distracted by the chat, but you carry on down. Sorry, mate.
But has soft start, so again, it's not going to spin out of your hands when you fire it up. Also has a variable speed trigger as well, and then obviously the speed control there locks the maximum speed. So again, you don't have to maintain the trigger pressure to keep the same RPM of the cutting head at all.
Yeah, so again, just to summarize, as I said, we have obviously come out with a new range of polishers. This now I don't think this finishes it, but you can definitely see there is a very fast and aggressive launch of polishers in the market. From the 12 volt, very comprehensive spot and automotive 12 volt sanders and polishers. And now we are updating our corded versions too. So the question would be, wondering if anyone in the chat's going to ask the obvious question, what about 18 volt? Yeah, seems the logical one. Although I think the 12 volt ones are great because they're small, compact, and they've got more than enough power on the 12 volt platform. But maybe you've got people that want a bit more runtime. They want a machine of this type of size with a bit more runtime on batteries. Yeah, so maybe,
But it's worth mentioning as well, 5.4 meters per second squared on vibration as well. So it's not a full day machine. But again, you get a good long run time out of it. I would suggest if you're working for long hours on something like this, you'd have breaks anyway.
I'm reading the chat a little bit because the topic of expert has been raised a couple of times there. I can see there's a good, nice discussion going in there. And I think it's that one. I think it's fair that kind of, as you say, who's that saying? That's Sanders. Yeah, Sanders. It's like the unconscious is the word you use there. The unconscious thought that every pro tool is not going to be as good as an expert. I mean, like, that is true. That is exactly what the expert range is. Well, kind of designed to represent, actually. But again, that doesn't mean that this tool, being not an expert sander, I mean, there isn't. Polisher. There isn't one currently.
If you're doing fine sanding, for instance, and you want to remove material maybe at a slower rate to get a better finish, then the pro version would be better than the expert version in that fact, because you have a smaller orbit radius, which means you're going to remove material slower, and in some applications that's important. So just because it's classed as the expert best performance doesn't necessarily mean it's the best tool for you. So there's plenty of choice to be had out there. I think that's as important as having the most powerful one.
I can see. Actually, you know what? I think maybe let's have a look. There's quite a lot back and forth. I think someone's wanting to clarify something with you as well. So just to summarise, we'll finish off this bit about the polishers. But I mean, that's a very interesting topic. And obviously, as there is no expert polisher currently, that doesn't mean that any of the GPOs or this GPX are not good just because it's not expert. But it does kind of hint that maybe maybe that means there will be an expert polisher out there which will have some kind of function,
maybe an
feature or performance that makes it an expert machine. Yeah. Okay, Ella. So let's have a little pause because I think we're fine with polishers, to be honest.
I think so.
And then we can come back and look at another machine once you've done a bit of Q&A.
Yeah, no worries. So, like you said, someone has asked me to clarify on a question that they asked earlier. They've rephrased it. So they've said, before this year, any impact or drill had a clutch button which adjusted speed depending on how hard you press it with your finger. Now it's on/off only. But they were saying before that they liked the feature where they could adjust the speed based on the pressure that they were applying on the button.
On the
on and off
impact
button.
drills and a clutch button which adjusts the speed, how hard you press the trigger. I mean, it's Victoria, yes, isn't it? I'm struggling with that question at the moment because I'm thinking what a variable speed trigger.
I'm assuming it's how
it may be a corded one with the dial on the actual switch. I mean, maybe a little bit of clarification on that.
Sorry, mate. It looks like maybe it might be one of the American rules. 350 CN versus 1860 CN. Okay, that's probably an American question. Let me have a look at that one for a moment. We'll carry on with some more questions, but I'll have a look.
Yep.
Is it to do with speed, maybe? The more you
can,
but as I said, variable speed trigger is a variable speed trigger.
Yeah, he said variable speed trigger.
Yeah, let me look up the machine. Let's do some more questions while we're doing that.
Yep.
Okie dokie. So there's also been quite a bit of back and forth about expert. Someone has asked whether if a tool is now labelled pro, are people right to assume that that is now a basic tool as it's not expert?
Basic's a bit hard.
Basic, well, that to me would be wrong. I would say for your basic tools, you will be looking more of your DIY products. They would sit at the lower end of the Bosch range of power tools. Obviously, we're a global tool brand. We have the Bosch green tools. We have the Pro blue tools, which are the professional tools. And you have the expert tools, which are top tier. And again, like I said before, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go for the expert tools. You go for the tool that's perfect for the job that you're doing. And again, it's all about choice. There's choice regarding pretty much all of the machines that we do now.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of non-expert tools that are by far my favourite. Yeah. Because I don't, believe it or not, despite the fact that I make jokes of the fact that everything has to be the biggest, most powerful tool. I mean, I'm a destroyer, not a builder. It has to be the most powerful, but there are plenty of tools. And if
that was the case, we'd stop 12 volt black and we'd only produce 18 volt big motor machines with massive batteries on them. But that's not the case.
But as I say, if you are a fan of the live stream and you watch frequently, when we do our end of year roundup, guess what? Most of my favourite tools of the year have been small, compact machines. I think
for me, the last 3 years, I think now, my favourite tools have always been 12 volt. Yeah. Always. Because they were
12 volt.
I got that.
My favourite hammer drill is the GBH 18V-22. It's not big, it's not powerful, it's not even flagship. But I thought it was perfect, especially for the UK market. Yes. Kickback control, optional integrated dust extraction facility. It's not bad. It's not garbage. It's not pro. It's definitely not expert, but it's by far one of my favourite, even to this day. Yeah. So highly recommended tool for me. So, yeah, I understand the expert topic has been very, very controversial. And it's very strange from Dan and I's perspective because we really just don't get it. We don't see it as an issue. It's just, hey, you can clearly see a range of products that are the absolute have features that make it what we would say best in category. But we've got plenty of other tools that sometimes we prefer just as much. Yeah. And as you say, expert doesn't apply to 12 volt. And we're not bidding off 12 volt. And Dan loves 12 volt. And so do I, actually. I joke about it. I absolutely love those new 12 volt drivers. And
sanders and polishers, drivers, the whole lot. Yeah. It's a great range of products. Great range.
Okay. Right. Gosh, it's good. We're going to get dragged into an expert.
Yes.
So if you're not happy, if you are happy, if you want to chat about Expert in more detail, if you want to have a discussion about the point of it, the pros and cons of it, and if you want to have a really good opportunity to really tell us what you think, save it till the next live stream, which is going to be the Q&A special, where I think we can dedicate a lot more time to, if you want to, deep dive into what you like and don't like about either the Expert range. Maybe you'd like to tell us what you think about or what you don't like about the way we've gone to market. Because, hey, we don't mind, we're not marketeers, but we'll be happy to take feedback and see what we can do to make you feel a little happier about the range. Because ultimately, we have a lot of products.
Yes.
You can pick and choose what you like, but we would like to know, maybe we can pass information on to the relevant teams and see if they can make some changes for you. Okay. But that'll be on I think we can spend time on the next live stream, which will be Q&A. Okay, Ella. If they still have a few more questions, Expert Workwear. Thanks, Marcus.
Paul Stevenson's also said Expert Accessories rock.
And they do.
Yes, they do.
He might be biased somewhat, but he is correct. That's a question to the chat. We'll let people discuss about that. What about the Expert Accessories? You can't surely have a problem with Expert Accessories, because remember, we have...
There's 3 lines of that as well.
Yeah, we're upset about the Bosch Pro and Expert Accessories? Surely not. Yeah. Surely that makes sense. But hey, let us know what you think.
It's almost like it's planned to be similar to the accessories range.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Good, better, best. Straightforward. There was one person who mentioned that in the chat. Is it like it's good, better, best? Yes.
Correct.
It's exactly.
Give that man a price. Okay. Right. Now we have to. And I'm not trying to ignore you, again, just make sure we're not trying to ignore your questions, but we do have quite a lot still to get through. So sorry, Ella, I'm going to cut you off, and we are going to have a look at the next product, which is Dan. Just put it behind me.
Oh, I was waiting for you to pick that one up.
Sorry. Just going to...
Right.
And, actually, when you get that on the desk, it's the fact that I believe the product that Victorious was talking about is an equivalent of our... now it's going to be our EXDR 18V-230. So that is our Expert impact driver.
I have the hose here.
Yeah.
I was going to fall over it.
Yeah, no. So Dan, the question they're asking about about the trigger or the torque button is actually about the EXDR 18V-230, the Expert Impact Generation 2 drive. But I still am not 100% sure. So we'll try and answer your questions as best we can. But even at this stage, I know that machine, at least our version of it, has a variable speed trigger.
Yes,
it does. Variable speeds, and it has a number of preset modes that you can adjust via the interface.
It may be to do with the presets, to be fair, because it went from presets from using that A/B functionality on the app to be able to set it with maybe a little bit more accuracy.
Yes, but again, that's got nothing to do with your trigger, but maybe you mean the buttons. Is that when you press the buttons?
Yeah, that's where I would read that, but I could be wrong. If you feel I haven't covered off the question, pop a little bit more explanation in there and we'll attack it again.
Okay, right, so thank you, Dan. What we've got here is we have a new dust extractor, so a GAS. Now this is a GAS 12V-25 LS.
It's not 12 volt. I'll point that one out.
No.
It's got a 12 in it, but it's not 12 volt.
Yeah, so
it has one of these, but obviously your one won't have the European plug on it.
So top line, because again, we are a little pushed for time, and I don't think I need to spend too long explaining what a dust extractor is for, but you are looking at a 1200 watt rated input power dust extractor, and 25, is the volume of the bucket, the container.
Yeah.
LS, so it is
L-class.
L-class. And it's
semi-automatic,
semi-filter cleaning, SFC.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so S for semi-filter cleaning. So
and that's what it sounds like. There you go. We'll pop it around the other side in a minute, and you can see the other side of the machine. But there you go. So you got the on-off switch here at the front. You got the power takeoff of the other side there. So we've obviously given you the ability to run it off of any power tools off of that as well. Catch on this side, data plate. On this side, however, we have that semi-automatic filter cleaning. You can operate it with your hand, but I think most people they've designed this to use with your foot. It's nice and low to the ground, and it just simply kick it with your toe, and that knocks the filter and again deposits the dust into the bucket below.
Right, yes. Now the product team have spent a lot of time actually on that system with the task, and they've succeeded. They've said they've succeeded in making sure that what they wanted to do is, if the filter gets blocked, that they could recover up to 90% of its performance by using that. So you don't have to stop what you're doing, take the cleaner out, take the filter out and clean it. So yes, it doesn't have an automatic filter cleaning system, which is convenient, but it's this semi filter cleaning, you're just still going to be able to get a lot of the dust off without having to delay your job.
Yeah, so if you notice the suction dropping, just pop your foot on that a couple of times until it makes a clicking noise, and you get your suction back.
Okay, right.
Floor cleaning attachments on the back.
Yeah, you get a lot kit included.
Yep, all on the back here. So, and it also comes with a dust bag as well. And the hose is a 35mm, so full size hose. Find the end of it somewhere. With the push fit adapter on here, and also if you take that off,
you also got the what Dan's doing. He's got the click and clean system, which is
marketing sample.
No, it's absolute. Well, it's absolutely brand new.
Yes, so, everything's a little
that's never come off. So we were quite fortunate in getting a delivery of this relatively recently, and then we did some training on it. But as you can see, it hasn't even been switched on because we did some training on the inside of it.
Yes.
It's pristine. So don't worry, after you use that one more time, that's going to break in.
Yeah, that's it. So, but yeah, click and clean. So for all of your machines with click and clean attachments, straight onto there. Yeah. Not a anti-static hose at this level, but then again, it's an L class. You're not going to be picking up the particles that are going to cause that static to build up.
Yeah, so and here's my question to the chat, because, and this is us doing a little bit of research on our behalf as well, actually, because this is why we like the live stream. We get to ask you questions directly. Now, I'm a bit of a nerd, and sometimes I'll don my health and safety hat for a second. Obviously, in the UK, majority of regulations for the removal of dust is going to fit into the medium risk, so the M class filter category. However, we are aware that there is actually still a massive market in the UK where L classes are still being purchased.
Yes.
So that's the reason why we have brought out another L class vac, because we can see that people are still purchasing it, and we are discontinuing the predecessors such as the 35L, did the 25L, I think, was still going?
There was an SFC.
Yes.
Or no,
but it was still
no AFC.
Yeah, but I think it was a 25, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had a button that you would shut off the airflow to manually clean.
But those are now discontinued, and obviously they'll still had people still buying those and wanted to buy them. So that's why we have brought this L class vac. So long story short, very interested to see who's using the L classes and what you're using them for. Because obviously from my perspective, if you're working in stone, concrete, and now, since COVID actually, since about 2018, I think, or 19, the regulations changed saying that even wood dust, soft and hardwood, technically is M class as well. So L class is only really for very minor cleanup work, or if you're working in drywall really, or any other low risk dust type, which isn't many actually, if you think about it.
No,
so
I would quite happily use one of these at home in my little workshop where I do my mechanics work and a little bit of metal work and that, just to clean up. Perfectly good machine for that. Great. Yeah. And you can stack your L boxes on top there as well. So
yes.
Yeah.
I can
makes
see,
for a nice little trolley.
Yeah, I can see one comment there, which is a valid point, because they claim that the L and M class have the same filter. Now, if you are very, if you need to waste some time, then you feel free to watch one of our dust extraction specials.
That's a riveting watch.
Yeah. I think I might have done that one, which was about dust extractors specifically, where I explained the difference between L, M, and the H class vacs that we make. And you are right. Yes, the filters are often shared across the machines. Why not? They're good quality. Usually PTFE filters, and they do filtrate to the same value. However,
there are some critical differences there as well.
One will be the sealing of the dust extractor itself. Obviously, it has to be able to minimize the amount of dust leaking, and an M class has to have even better filtration, yes, but also has to have a system that stops the dust, therefore also escaping. Yeah. Right. You also have to have a
certain airflow as well. Yes. You need the airspeed, I think it's something like 20 meters per second or something like that.
Right. Airspeed, it has to be maintained.
That has to be maintained and alarmed.
Yeah, so there
has to be some method of alarm, whether it's a flashing light or it's an audible alarm, has to be in place to let you know when it's not currently achieving its M-class classification.
That's right. And I think that might be the most important part, because there are other parts as well, like the way the dust comes out of it. And that's what it makes the sticker, and why the health and safety officer, if you're doing a job that has that kind of level of inspection, or if you've got someone who looks after that for you in a company, okay, it's the airflow meter and obviously the alarm to indicate, because yes, the filtration might be really high. The sealing might also be really high and suitable for M-class dust. But if for whatever reason that you aren't aware that the dust is blocking the filter and you're not getting the airflow, then the dust isn't going into the vac, and you need a system to let the user be aware of that, and that's what is part of the M-class and H-class system.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's some of it's red tape, but sometimes it's not just red
It's
tape.
there, it's there for a reason.
And I know I've been to many people's sites, and I've worked and talked to many users, and sometimes their filters have never seen a cleaning brush in their entire life. So I would be, if it wasn't for the alarm, which is usually the reason why they're talking to me, because they're complaining about the alarm, they would never have known that they are not bringing as much dust into their vac as they think they are. Got a long story short, but yeah, big topic.
Yes.
L-class still available for those out there that don't need or want an M-class. Nice and compact size, a lot smaller compared to the 35. Lot smaller because it's 25 litre, but also even if it was an equivalent of 35, the actual form factor of these is much smaller. We've gone from a much taller design with the gas 35 and 55 models, and I think actually I would agree with the new M-class version, which is similar to this, and this L-class. It being lower, I can see being much better to put in the van.
It's more compact, and you can squirrel it away underneath the racking in the back of your van. Oh, perfect.
Right, yeah. I'm getting obsessed with the chat there. So actually, Ella, let's get this off the table and let's see if we've got any questions. Maybe it'll be questions generally about dust extractors anyway.
Yes.
And see what we can ask them.
So someone has asked why there's no integrated Bluetooth module.
I think the best way of describing it is that it's a more cost-effective model. We didn't want to add in features that may or may not be necessary.
But it is compatible to the retrofit version with the transmitter and receiver. So it uses the same sort of band to go around the tool, and the receiver that plugs into the 13 amp.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our strategy for the time being with our mains vacs. That yes, it's going to be you'd retrofit it instead because it's otherwise it's additional cost, and maybe people won't want to spend extra money. We're trying to make sure that we keep these dust extractors as cost effective as possible whilst still maintaining the ability to retro it.
Yeah.
Someone else has asked, can we expect a new GAS M-Class vac anytime soon? The current 35 is almost 15 years old.
Oh, we've already got one. That's the 1250 MA, is it?
1240.
1240.
1240
yeah, 1240. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So similar to that, slightly bigger, with the hose in the top of the actual vac itself. But that's the new M-Class. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Very low profile.
It packs in nicely as well because the cabling and the hose fit into the top, and then you can pop an L box on the top of that, and it's all encapsulated in itself. And again, nice and easy to pack away in the back of the van.
Yeah, so it's still 1200 watts of power. It's got a 40 litre box.
That's 1240, okay.
Yeah, it's obviously an M-Class, and the A means that it has automatic filter cleaning.
Yeah.
Or, yes.
AFC or automatic filter cleaning control, whatever.
Well, we've abbreviated it, but it uses a slightly different design compared to our predecessor model, which was again the gas 35 and the 55 AFC.
Actually, a little bit better when it comes to the air leaving the machine.
Yeah, because it's got a filter. I wanted to see this one's got a filter as well.
It does, but I couldn't get the door open.
Yeah. So yes, these new designs obviously have a filter. That means that when you're doing the filter cleaning system, it's obviously going to be bringing air from the outside to help blow through the filter from the other way. We don't want that dust to be dirty, which is what our previous models had, but now we've resolved. Yeah.
Yeah. So you filter the backflowing air is now filtered as well as the incoming air. So yeah, it really is a clean bit of kit.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Right. So I need a little quick sip of water. And also the next product is a product that we could have shown you, but it's a bit big and it's a bit awkward to put on camera because really it's the kind of tool that we really want to have on a stand. Yeah. We were going to struggle with it, but Dan did me a favour.
Yeah, speaking of being awkward on camera.
That's right. So Dan did us a big favour and he filmed a little video with Ollie earlier today, just detailing this next machine, which I reckon you're all going to like. So, Ollie, over to you, mate.
So this is the GTA 50W. Now, the keen-eyed amongst you will notice that this is a gravity rise stand, much similar to the 60W that we've had previously. However, due to that being an older model, the compatibility with our newer range of table saws has been limited, and you would have had to buy new plates to fit on top of it for it to fit the latest models. Now, with this stand in particular, we can fit all of our models from our older table saws that are out there on the market all the way up to the new ones and beyond. Quite simple to operate this one. You have a red kick button at the bottom here. Simply kick it, which will release the mechanism at the bottom, and then down, and there you go. All set up, ready to go. Now this is the GTS 18V. This is a reasonably recent saw, but I wanted to show you the fact that this mechanism down the bottom here, we have these two metal plates with multiple slots in them. Now these can be moved apart and together to accommodate all of the sizes of table saw that we actually offer on the market. You can also move these plates out further or remove them entirely to fit the larger 10-inch table saw that we're going to talk about shortly. So after you've finished using your table saw, it's quite straightforward to fold this up. Simply got to put your foot on the button there, a little press will release the mechanism, push that all the way up, tilt it forward, and just lock that into place. And there you go, all ready for you to wheel off to your next job site. So while we're on the subject of table saw stands, this is the new 700 designed to fit our new 10-inch table saw coming very soon. Now, this is a folding stand, so very simple to operate. There's a unique feature on this particular stand which sets it apart from all of our previous ones, and that's that red lever on the side here. So this actually has a locking mechanism that keeps this folded. If you were storing this in the back of a van, for instance, it's very annoying when they unfold and maybe get tangled in the other things in the back of the van. So simply press the button there, and this saw stand opens up, locks into place. It's super lightweight, so very easy to move around, and you simply take your saw, post it underneath these clips at the front here, and then you've got a clip at the back that clamps it down. So we've looked at the folding table saw stand. How about something to put on it? Now this is the new GTS 100-254, 100mm maximum depth of cut, 254mm blade, making this our new 10-inch table saw. So let's take pictures of this particular machine. This is a corded machine, so currently no cordless variant of this particular model, but we have the rack and pinion fence on here as well. Simple operation here at the side and lockable via the lever at the front. We have the split guard that we've been producing on table saws for a very long time now. However, we do have dust extraction above the cutting surface as well, with the ability of a Y branch that clips here onto the side of the fence, keeping it well out of the way of any tape. We also have slots left and right of the cutting blade for the mitre gauge. Now I'll show you the mitre gauge because I'm quite impressed with this. We have detents on the actual mitre gauge here, and also as we received a little bit of feedback regarding some of our previous models where there was a little bit of slop in the T slot here, we actually have the ability here to adjust these small cams to take up that drift and give you a really accurate cut. Simply slots into the T slots there, and then you can just tweak those little cams to get rid of that. We also have an extension piece that clips into the mitre gauge with a material stop as well, allowing you to do repeatedly accurate cuts on the go. So along the front here we have the locking lever for the rack and pinion mechanism, and as you've come to expect from our table saws, we have a similar mechanism here where the locking lever here allows you to adjust from 45 degrees all the way up to 0 degrees, but you also have these lockouts just here that allow you to go slightly undercut or overcut from the 45 or 0 as well. So again, two levers here that you can just pull out the way to disengage those stops. On this side here, we have the on-off switch. So we've got the green on button here and the emergency off button. So that presses the button below it. So here in the side, obviously you've got your cable management area. There's slots in here for that mitre gauge extension. Mitre gauge slots in just here at the back. We have the dust port adapter and the dust port for the lower table extraction. Coming around this side here, we have an area for the protective guards to clip in there during transit, so it's nice and safe and sound. The fence actually flips upside down and clips on, so that's stowed nicely underneath the table as well. And we have the tool here finally for changing the blade and accessing the blade area to raise and lower the riving knife. So when it comes to the fence here, we have two lockable positions. We have the black area here, where you see there's a black pin and a silver pin here. Now when it's clipped into the black pin, you're reading off of the black gauge here, and when you're on extended lengths of material, the silver pin here reads off of the silver gauge as well, giving you that larger area rip cut. The fence itself is clipped front and rear, so super square when it comes to actually fitting it to the machine. We have this section at the front here which allows you to lock this in place to cut thinner materials or to do undercuts when it comes to rebated material. And of course, to hand at all times, we have the prodding stick just located in the fence as well. So in summary, our GTS 100-254, 100mm depth of cut, 254mm or 10-inch blade, our new table saw to the market. Now, back to the studio with that handsome fella and of course Chris. Now this is the GTS 18V-70. I think so. Hang on, let me just check. I can't see. It is. That's nice.
I'll accept that, Dan.
Pure professionalism.
Yes, Dan can be the pretty one. I'll just have to settle for the intelligent one.
Oh, I don't know. There you go.
Must be the pretty one then.
Yeah.
So yes, Dan, well done. That was a really nice video.
Yeah.
We would have loved to have the product in. So, but you'll have to wait till we get into a new studio where we're going to have loads of space. So it'll be a lot
wheel
easier.
everything in that we want. Then
It's going to be a dream. So yes, new GTS saw, table saw, up to a maximum cutting depth of 100mm.
Yep.
10-inch blade. What's there not to like? Well, rack and pinion.
Yep.
Everything you said there, spot on.
Spot on.
Love this machine.
Yeah, the folding stand, again, really good folding stand that. But the pièce de resistance of that whole video was that gravity rise. The fact that it's compatible with all of the table saws that we've offered so far, that's amazing.
I mean, I get really excited by the most mundane things.
It's the red clip, isn't it?
It's the red clip on the on the folding out stand. I looked at it and went, why have we not done this before? Thank God. So yes, all in all, a lot of new additions, new stands, and a nice update to an We had obviously some great existing saws in that 10-inch blade category. Yeah. But this with rack and pinion and all the advantages and add-ons that you showed in that video means, hey, why not? Why not upgrade if you've already got one of the older models, or if you haven't already, great time to buy. I did see a comment pop up there, so I don't know, Ella, have you got any comments during that video?
Yes, someone has said, are the new table saws not expert in black?
Well, there is a new expert table saw in black, a corded one. However, it's actually very similar to this, except for the fact, yes, the table's black. It has a sliding table as well, it's an additional one, and the mitre gauge is even better on that one as well, but only fractionally. They're still very similar machines.
But I've got to be the bearer of maybe bad news, which is it may not come to the UK straight away. So you may have already seen, you know what, there might even be a video of you and I talking about it that will be used for the rest of Europe. Hey, we're internationally famous, eh? What can we say? But unfortunately, it may not come to the UK immediately. It may come at a later date, later than where it comes out in Europe, because I think, yes, it might already be launching in most of Europe at the moment.
Yes, it could be.
Yeah, which is going to be the EXTS 100-254X, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the X. So yes, Sorry, but hey, this machine, not expert, yeah, still outstanding.
Yeah,
it might not have some of the expert features, but if you need a machine that's got this cutting capacity,
yeah.
why not look at this GTS 100
If a sliding table is not important to you, then this would be the one to go for. And you can always upgrade the mitre gauge to the expert mitre gauge if you want it in the future. So, yeah.
Cool.
It's a great bit of kit.
Right. Sorry. Any other questions, Ella? Or shall we move on? Because yes, I do want to. Yes, we do need to finish eventually.
Yes. Yeah. We need some sort of sustenance this evening.
Yeah, just one last question. What about the click and clean Y piece for the dual dust extraction?
It's available as an accessory. We don't have one here at the moment. We have seen one in Germany though. So it does most definitely exist. But yeah, I was quite impressed by the design. The fact that it clips to the back of the actual fence just keeps all the pipe work well out of the way for when you're cutting.
If you don't want to purchase a Y adapter and you are fortunate enough to have 2 dust extractors, then trust me, the amount of dust extraction is phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah, quite impressive on that.
But most people probably are not necessarily got 2. They're not as lucky as Danny and I, and don't have rooms full of dust extractors. So yes, that Y piece.
I can most certainly tell you that the Y piece is cheaper than 2 vacuums.
Yes. Okay. Ella, I think we will move on. It's okay. Yeah. So I'm going to grab it for you, Dan. Good. Now we've got a new Mitre saw coming to the range.
Yes. So this one is the GCM 305-216S. So speed control compound mitre saw, and that's got a cord in it as well. So there's a theme today for this particular T launch, and there's quite a few corded products in it.
Right,
so
yes. I mean, we go through cycles every now and then where people are saying it's all 18 volt. When are you going to bring out some corded machines? And here we go, some more corded machines. And then eventually it's like, oh, too many corded machines. Why are you not bringing out more 18 volt machines? Hey, we make sure that we bring out products on a regular basis that fit and meet the necessaries. And obviously, it's always important to have another a good mains machine.
If you're working in a workshop, for instance, day in, day out, you don't necessarily need cordless machines all the time. If you're working right next to a plug socket, it makes sense to have a corded machine.
It's predominantly going to be a workshop tool, of course.
Something like this, definitely,
yeah. Okay, so basics. So 305, that's going to be your cross-cut capacity. So that's this cut here. It runs a 216mm blade, and that's an 8-inch blade. Okay, and that basically gives you a maximum depth of cut at 0 degrees of 70mm.
Yep.
S, I believe in this particular model, is the fact that it has a shadow light. The button on our marketing sample is indicating a laser, but it's a shadow light.
Yes.
Which again is what I think everyone nowadays prefers.
It doesn't need any sort of calibration when it comes to changing blade width. So if you wanted to put a narrower blade on this, maybe a cordless equivalent blade with a narrower kerf, you can do that, no problem at all. You won't need to adjust the laser because it uses the actual blade itself to cast the line. So it's always going to be in the right place.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, it's got a dust extraction bag that Danny and I laugh at all the time because no, get a vac, put a vac on it, man.
It'll feel like this, and then when you do a chop, it just empties back down on the table again.
Get a dust extractor.
Dust extraction, basically for all of your compound mitre saw needs. It's never going to be very good dust extraction with a bag.
No, agreed.
That's my personal opinion. Yep. Maybe not necessarily the opinion of Bosch, but it's my personal opinion. Yeah.
Okay, you have little material supports with stops on both sides.
Yep.
And as Dan's got there, you also get supplied the material blocks as well.
Yeah, so those can clip on the back here, and they can also clip on the side front there as well for additional support materials. So on both sides. This is only a single bevel mitre saw as well. It doesn't dual bevel, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No D in the name.
Yep. So you'd be flipping the workpiece over to get your alternative cut.
Now, yeah, I mean, and to be honest, again, you'll see that there's a bit of a theme going on here, that this T, there's definitely a lot of updating of products. We do have some completely new products coming very shortly, but you can see this machine is replacing a very, very popular machine that many people out there have.
It's been out there a long time in the market, really.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people that have the GCM 8 and also the 800 SJ.
Yes.
Because both of those 8-inch, did I say? Did I say 8-inch previous? I don't know what I said last time. Yes, 8-inch models, a very popular size, especially in the UK. And this is going to be a really good successor because essentially it's better on pretty much every front when it comes to cutting capacity, cross-cut depth and cross-cut capacity. It's all either in line or better than.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I'm rushing along because I realised that we need to get through to some also very exciting products. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know whether or not we pause very quickly for any last questions while we get this off the desk, Ella?
We had one question about the Mitre saw. Are you able to put a featherboard on the parallel guide?
On the Mitre saw or table saw? It'd be table saw.
It just came in, so it might be the table saw.
I will have to check that. I think so. Yes.
So if it has you have the slot on it, let me just. Yeah, I'll check for you, mate. Okay.
Yep, I think you can.
Yes, it's got the slot.
Yeah, I know you can on the expert version, 100%. But yeah, it's got a slot in the Mitre fence, hasn't it?
Yeah, featherboard compatibility.
There you go. So, yeah.
And we actually are going to be shortly bringing out a range of accessories. That affects me. A range of accessories like featherboards and gripper blocks and other things for your table saw use.
Yes. Yeah. I think currently at the development stage, we haven't actually seen them yet, but they are definitely on the way. So, Chris, are we going to get through this next section without laughing?
No. Well,
giggling?
I'm immune. I'm immune, but I swim in innuendo. So let's see how we do here.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yes. Right, boys and girls.
Knuckle down.
Knuckle down. This is going to get controversial.
Yes.
Right, so what we are bringing to the new range of Bosch Professional is an entire new category of tools. Anyone guessed? No one's guessed yet. What am I going to be talking about? Right, okay, so this is for, if there's anyone in the chat or...
Let's put gloves on.
It's getting serious.
It's getting serious.
That's right, yeah. So if you are into, say, heavy construction or you're doing concrete foundation work, okay, working with rebar and concrete, then these are not new tools to you, but you're probably aware that Bosch have not even dabbled ever.
No, this is a completely new sector for us.
New topic, yes. So let's see if everyone can be mature in the chat, because today, for the next couple of minutes, we'll be talking about Bosch's professional concrete vibration and vibrator solutions. Oh,
yes.
fabulous.
And have we got a selection of vibrators for you?
Right, unfortunately, the actual accessories are somewhat long, heavy, girthy, and I can't get my range of vibrators on the desk because I have too many, Dan.
Yeah.
But I have at least 5 different vibrating heads.
Yeah.
So I've brought 2 examples of the 2 different types. Actually, and I've got a third, actually.
Yeah, we've got a third, yes, because we wanted to show the...
third girth.
Yes.
Okay, right. So, do I need to explain? I think I do. Okay, so if you're not familiar, if you're laying concrete foundations, if you're doing things that we refer to as flat work, so slabs, for example, or you're pouring deep, or doing columns, for example, then you obviously need to remove the air bubbles, right?
Exactly. You need to get the air bubbles out so you don't get a void within that material. And obviously, when it cures, it goes off and you get the best possible results.
Yes, you want to have a homogeneous material. The last thing you want is, unless you're deliberately trying to be cheap and get aerated concrete. We have a top issue in the UK with types of aerated concrete. You don't want it, generally speaking. But yes, you want to remove those air bubbles, otherwise you'd have weak concrete.
This typically happens around rebar, where there's been rebar reinforcement put in. Obviously, you want to get the more liquid material settled to the bottom part before next pour. Maybe you're doing a multi-pour.
That's right. So what we have got is we have a adaptable or flexible modular system, and it's made up of a number of parts. I'd argue it's technically made out of 3 separate parts. You need a power supply, you might need a carrying system, and then you actually need the vibrating heads or prodders or whatever you would like to call them themselves. Okay, so let's start off with the first part. I'll get it down a second.
That's all right.
Okay, the first part is going to be the power supply that is going to run our concrete vibrators. So what I've got here is going to be the GPU 18V2DI. Okay, so if we cut back to the wide shot when we're ready, and you'll see that it's essentially a 2 times 18 volt power supply.
There you go.
Okay.
Don't believe us? There's a couple of batteries in there.
Yeah,
there
I have already. I should have put the 15 amp hours in there, but
yeah, it'll take the 15 amp hours.
yeah. But as you see, these are just your standard expert batteries. I think I've got 2 8 amp hours in there. Okay. The actual product itself is nicely sealed, so you don't have to worry about it. It's IPX4, so it's fine in basically UK summer, so in the rain.
You're dealing with liquid materials when you're actually using this anyway, so as well, it makes sense for it to be a certain amount of waterproofed.
Yep. Simple on button on the side there, and essentially when I press that, you'll see that then the interface comes on, and I've got a little battery check button that allows me to check the respective charge of each individual battery. For these ones, actually, it's hard to see, but I didn't put batteries of the same charge. One's pretty flat on there.
All right, shows the indicator.
You can see that there. Right. So you can see that I've obviously got a cable here that will plug into the vibrating attachments.
Exactly. It's worth mentioning as well on the sides here, we have these reflective patches. So obviously you need to be seen on site, especially if you're walking around amongst like loose rebar. Obviously keeping you as visible as possible.
Right, so as I already described earlier, you know, there's different types of work you'll be doing. So you might be doing flat work where you're walking around quite a lot.
Yep.
So you don't want this just sat on the floor, you're having to hand carry it. So as Dan has got below him,
Yep, I have.
he has the
GBP 100. Again, this is the backpack system for the actual GPU there. Nice, comfortable backpack at shoulder straps here as well. Again, with more reflective material here and on the back here as well. So super comfortable, multiple fittings around your waist and your chest. Super comfortable. Really does take the load of that.
Yeah.
That even not being that expensive, that heavy, it's very comfortable to wear it with the backpack attachment.
So if you are doing that flat work, as Dan points out, then all you need to do is simply clip the unit on.
Done. Easy as that.
And then you've now got the straps. Now the reason we've gone with this design is we're aware that in a minute you'll see the 2 different types of applicators we've got. That we didn't want you to have a entirely strapped system when you might not need to carry the unit around, especially if you're doing vertical work with the different vibration
yeah, maybe
heads.
pouring columns or walls. Then you tend to put the power section down, and then you've got up to a 5 meter length of hose with the head on it, so you can drop that obviously down deeper columns than that again to aerate the concrete or get the air out of the concrete.
Right. So obviously now we obviously are coming to the market, and we're deciding that we want to have this modular system, so you can buy the power unit on its own. You can buy it. I think you can actually buy it complete with. You can buy it on its own, or you can add on the backpack strap system if that becomes part of your process, and then you can easily, as you saw there, put it on, take it off, depending on what job you're doing on any particular day. The waist adjustment on this one is 90 centimeters up to 174 centimeters. So I think that hopefully will get across the vast majority of people. And obviously the plastics and the actual nylon and the strapping system itself is obviously going to be rated for UV resistance as well as concrete.
Yeah, really.
It's gonna get concrete on it. So obviously the material is designed to be resistant to that as well.
Even the padding material on the backpack section here, super soft, but you can tell really robust.
Okay, right. So let's look at the business ends. Let's drop this off for a second.
Down to the meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. Right, I'm gonna try and delicately get this off the shelves.
Oh, you've really done yourself up on there.
Have a little bit, but I can manage.
He's tangled it around everything on the shelving.
I'm going to start off.
That's a big boy.
With this bad boy. All right, so what I've got here. Yeah, it's not light, but it's a serious bit of kit. First off, I have an example of one of the vibrators specifically designed for
flat work.
This is going to be the GDI 50. Well, wait, it's not. This one's not the 50. So this is the GDI 59-65D. Okay, so this is the largest of the 2. So there are 2 different models of D-handle vibrators, internal vibrators. This is the larger diameter with 59 millimeter diameter vibrating head. Everyone is just.
It's just
they're all
I'm
taken over in this. the ladies in this room,
I feel like a pure professional.
besides themselves, giggles, giggles, giggles. Professionals here, don't they? Yeah. Okay, and then you've got 65mm hose length.
Centimetre.
That's what I think, millimeters, yeah. 65 centimetre. Yes, no, a little bit. 65 centimetre hose length.
It's important to mention as well, obviously we've talked before about vibration exposure. This little section here is completely rubberized, so you get a good bend on that as well. It means you're not receiving the vibration to your body. It stays in the tip.
Now you could argue that the D is the D handle, but it could also be decoupled. So this is a decoupled D handle. So when you're walking around with it, then you don't have to, you're reducing the amount of hand and arm vibration. If you were to grab my head, if you were to hold the actual vibrating head itself, you'd be getting something like over 10 meters per second.
Yeah.
At the handle, this end, you're down to 1.5 meters per second. And that's obviously important because you will be having to move this around quite frequently.
Yes.
You'll be dipping it in and out as you walk along. Crazy. As you walk along, and you don't want to be exposing yourself to quite extreme vibration forces. Okay, with this particular model, the one I've got in front of me, this has the bigger diameter head that actually produces the most centrifugal force. Yes. So this has basically a offset weight. Okay, and obviously it has it's not a drop. It's a motor that sits in the head itself, and obviously the electrical cables that run from the power pack. With this model, you've got the most centrifugal force, which is going to be 4,300 newtons, and that's a lot. That's a lot, yeah. Even in the market with many other competitors, I'm confident in saying that that is by far right at the top, if not better than so much. I think 4,300 is very high. Its vibrations per minute for all of the different applicators is going to be the same at 11,600 vibrations per minute.
Yeah.
Right, 200 hertz, if that's relevant to you, if you know what you're looking for. Okay, so with this diameter head, I believe off the top of my head, with that power pack unit, with two 15 amp hour batteries, you can get 45 minutes runtime.
That's a lot of runtime for the amount of energy that's being expelled.
That's right. Yeah. And the entire vibrator is IP67. How's the chat doing? They're doing good? Oh, they're being very polite. Okay, IP67, because what do you expect? You're going to be putting this into concrete. It needs to have a really good IP rating. Yes. Now, the alternative model to the D handle is going to be the GDI 50-65D. So it's got a slightly smaller diameter head. And we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Yep. We've got examples of all of them. Okay, last little main points. Obviously, this model has, swing it around, activation button here. Okay, you simply just, it's a switch. Yep. Okay, you pop that into the on position and then you go to work. Yeah. The only other thing I would like to mention is the fact that obviously if you're running the backpack with the battery indicator, you can't see it. But all of the vibrators, including this and the ones for vertical work, they have a haptic feature, which means if the battery gets down to 20%, you get 3 distinct pulses. And then you'll get it again when it gets to 10%.
I think haptics understating it. Yep. You'll feel it. You'll definitely feel it if the battery's getting low.
That's right. So you you'll know when your battery packs are starting to run low and whether or not you need to finish up and change batteries.
45 minutes is a considerable length of time.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be doing it any longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah, remember that, and that's the largest diameter heads. Okay, so that's an example of D handles for flat work. Let me quickly try and grab an example. Or
you got the smaller one there? I say smaller.
It's smaller, but a little less. It's still not particularly easy to manhandle because of the length of the hose. Right. Okay, right. So as an example, this is the thinner diameter one. Yep. So this is the smallest diameter heads for the vibrators designed for vertical.
There's an intermediate size, obviously, also available with the other flat work D-handled one, but there's 3 different sizes in the 5 meter length one here.
That's right. So the names are slightly different, but the logic's still the same. So these are still GDIs. This one I've got here is 38mm, so 38, and as Dan points out, this is a 5 meter hose. So this is a 38-500. I
wouldn't want to be dragging this around on a backpack, for instance, mainly because you're just going to be dragging
obviously
all of that stuff around with you.
So as it's designed for vertical work, that's why you've got a long hose, because you're going to feed that into material and then pull it out. and repeat, and rinse and repeat. The two other models are similar in aspect to the other two D handles. So you're going to have a 50-500 and you're going to have a 59-500.
Yeah.
Same length,
Yep.
but different diameters. And then you're obviously going to get a different amount of vibrations depending on the size of the head. So the smallest one here is going to be 1,800 newtons, then it's 3,000 newtons, and then all the way up to that 4,300 newtons.
We got asked a question over in Germany. Actually, one of our colleagues asked the question: why would I want different size vibration heads? Obviously, if you're pouring a column or a pad, for instance, and you are dealing with a grid of rebar that's quite tight, the worst thing that can happen is you can drop the larger head in between two pieces of rebar, and the vibrations will cause it basically to wriggle its way through. There's no getting that back out again. Usually in a situation like that, they will cut the vibrator head off and then continue pouring concrete. That's it. There's no way of getting it back. So that's why we produce a smaller one. So if you know that the rebar is a tighter mesh, you can use a smaller diameter head, and it won't get caught.
Yep. I'm just seeing one of the questions that popped up there. I'll address it on behalf of Ella, so she doesn't have the embarrassment of talking about this topic. So the largest one there, the largest hose, so I'm assuming you're going to be talking about, say, for example, the 5 meter with the 59mm head. Then you're looking at, I think it was about 15 kilos. This one's the lighter of the three.
Yes.
So it's it's 15.1 kilos for the largest vertical work one with the larger diameter head. As an example, with the D handles, the heaviest one of that is about 9 kilos. The one I had was about 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, they're not lightweight. They do require a bit of muscle to get around, but that's just what you got to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a required machine for a very specific task. And I'm glad that we now produce them.
Absolutely, and it's a good bit of kit.
Yeah, and eventually the giggles will finish, and they'll settle down.
They have composed themselves
Now.
Yes. Okay, so let's finish off. Let's do one more just to make a bit more S and giggles. Yep. So Dan's got the thinnest diameter one.
That's the thinny one. Yep. Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna get this.
There's another 5 meter. I just bring up the different end.
All right, so you've got 38. This is the 50.
Yep.
And I'll just grab the 59 for context.
So that'll be there.
Okay, right.
A life of their own.
So
there you go.
Yeah, I am aware. Obviously, this whole topic is probably a little bit more specialised.
Yeah.
But I know that eventually there'll be people that, hey, they might be watching live. But if not, then obviously when this becomes a video, we will be referring to this as a really good introduction. Dan and I were over in Germany again, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, and we were filming, and we have done a video on all the complete system in depth.
Yes, very
but
much
to be honest, I think we've done a pretty good job of replicating it today. So, right. Ella, any questions in regards to our concrete vibrator solution?
Yeah, there was quite a few questions, some that I don't know if I should read. One of them was, why are they so big and cumbersome?
Because how else will you create that amount of power?
Vibration.
That's
right. It's all about
yes.
magnitude of vibration.
That's right. So as Dan points out, the different sizes of the different different types of applications based on like the rebar density and size. And then when you don't have any interruptions, then you really want to get the job done quickly. We've got a large amount. You're going to go for the most powerful and the larger girth. Or heavier one. Or most powerful one. Yeah. Okay. Hello, any more, please?
Yeah, and one more. Will there be a compact 18-volt concrete vibrator like the competition has?
Pencil vibrator, in fact, something like that.
There are plans, so don't worry. We're going to have a complete system very, very, very shortly. Can't give any more details, but yes.
We've seen it.
Used it.
Used it, yes. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Right. Let's almost need an ad break to get these ones off the desk. Okay, thank you, mate.
Right, next one, we're going to go for a little bit of accessory.
Yes, we're going to do a little detour, just very quickly, to talk about our new, or in addition to our concrete grinding heads or cups Okay, so
Yes.
obviously designed for machines like our GBR, so our concrete grinders. I think you've got one example of our 18-volt one on the shelf behind you, Dan.
I think I do.
Okay. So this is going to be a new accessory that's coming out in our Expert range, and this is going to be one that's designed for long life.
Okay,
Now,
so one of those.
that's right, 1 second. So what we had previously in our Expert range is we had the speed. So this was actually 2 times faster.
There you go.
So this was what we had originally, which was a Expert concrete cup for fast removal. But now what we've got is we've got an option if you want longevity. Is now we can go with this one, which is designed for lifetime. Obviously, you can see that the design's different in regards to the diamond sections. You can see that this has more and they're wider, and this is designed for lifetime, 4 times longer lifetime compared to some of the more standard bits, such as the ones that you might get on the machine when you buy it.
Yeah.
I think this is a Pro, so I think it actually, actually lower grade than that.
Yes.
So this is pretty good, the Pro one. But as an example, for these types of machines, lifetime could be a consideration. You don't necessarily want to go fast, which is what you can pick this for. We've now got the option that you can go for longevity.
Exactly.
One thing I particularly like actually about this model, or this type of accessory over the speed ones, is these produce a lot less vibration.
Yes.
And they're a little less grabby. This is very good, very fast and aggressive, but you have to pay the price for that. This is, as someone who's not someone that doesn't do this every day, I find that this type of accessory in one of these machines be very
carries a bit more weight and a bit more inertia, but not at the detriment to the dust extraction it does as well. So the dust extraction on these machines, especially coupled with this particular model here with the fully encapsulated ring on here, the dust extraction is perfect. Actually sucks through the actual cup itself.
That's right. Yeah, let's cut to the super duper close up because I haven't used it today. You can see here you've got the diamond sections. Okay, pull back a bit. Sorry. Okay, and you can see obviously you've got 3 sections. They've got this kind of aerodynamic diamond sections that help with, again, dust extraction, but also performance. If I show what the speed ones look like, they are far more aggressive, and obviously there's less diamond on them. So you can see that with these ones, you've got I'll pull it back a little bit. You've got a lot more. Up there, isn't it? You've got a lot more surface area to work with. That makes it more comfortable and makes it last longer too. As Dan said, the large slots really help with the dust extraction on this as well. I mean, not as much maybe perhaps compared to the speed one, but this is removing material a lot quicker and a lot more violently, so it needs the bigger slot set.
The surface area in contact with the actual concrete, it was a lot smoother, more progressive as well.
Right,
but it still maintained that removal rate.
Yeah. Okay, checking on time. Yeah. Okay, we've got to catch up. Sizes. Hey, we've got all our family favourite sizes. So we've got a 115, 125, 150, and 180. So all the typical sizes based on our machines and competitors that we don't have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Now this next machine is a very complex one that I don't have the time to do justice in my opinion, but I wanted to make sure that we at least talk about it.
We are going to have to do another live stream in the future regarding industrial tools. Obviously, because we did an industrial tool live stream last year, maybe the year.
When we launched the initial wave. We haven't done another special for some time.
We've over doubled the amount of tools now, so obviously we need to come back with maybe a refresher and a follow-up with the new tools.
That's right, yes.
This will be one of them.
I think what Dan is alluding to, that he really wants to do a special on IW.
It would be nice.
D-class tools. But in the meantime, I want to present probably, actually generally, one of my, probably the favourite D-class industrial tool that we have brought out today. So what we've got here is our brand new ISR 18V-50E. So what have we got? Well, we have got a very sophisticated, far more precise and harder wearing machine compared to some of the others in the range, partly because this is now using an electronic high precision clutch.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, some of the other ISRs we had used a mechanical clutch. We do have some that are using electronic timers and things like that, but this is a real combination of all the best things that we have in the Bosch Exact range, which is like our B and C class production tools.
Yep, expensive machines.
Very expensive machines. And for those who aren't familiar, when we're talking about these kinds of tools, these industrial tools, this isn't necessarily your standard power tool for trade and industry.
No, you're not going to be taking this onto a work site to put big lag bolts into to timber fixings or anything like that. Or
no, generally speaking, not. This is the kind of tool that would be, and many of the D-class tools would, D-class and exact tools would typically be the kinds of tools that you would see on a production line, manufacturing.
Or installation as well.
Yes.
So, for instance, putting up prefabricated steel buildings like barns and sheds and stuff like that. Something like this where you don't want to strip out a thread, for instance, perfect.
However, we are seeing that there are lots of other newer industries, such as solar installation.
See, I lined that up for you.
Yeah, you did perfect. It's like we know what we're doing. But however, we are seeing that there are lots of new industries that do require tools that are far more accurate, that have levels of reporting, as in you actually log how many fittings you've done, for example, and if they're successful or not successful. And they are becoming more and more popular. So especially if you're thinking, if you're a solar engineer in the field, mounting solar panels to houses or whatever, right? You actually have to have a lot more in a tool than what's currently offered by our standard professional power tools.
When you're, especially in solar farms or anything like that, where you're fitting solar panels to large metal frames, over tightening a fixing doesn't necessarily just damage the fixing. You can end up damaging very, very expensive photovoltaic cells. So again, it's about maintaining the efficiency of the job whilst trying to mitigate some of the mistakes that can be made if you are using a standard power tool.
That's right. One of the big features for all the industrial tools is obviously the fact that they are designed for, I would say, hundreds of thousands, in fact millions, up to a million trigger pulls. So the triggers themselves are hard wearing.
Hall sensors, so there isn't any sort of variable resistor or anything in there. It's literally passing a sensor, passing a magnet past a sensor, and that gives you your trigger pull. So no moving parts.
Yeah, it's the same thing for the internal. So the actual clutch mechanism inside also has to be far more robust compared to even the best of the Bosch Professional power tool range. Because look, if you are on a production line, you can't afford these tools to go down, right? It's inconvenient when you're a professional, I agree. But on a production line, it can cost millions.
If you stop a line for, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, it's thousands per minute. So again, they have to be very, very hard wearing.
That's right.
Machines.
But fundamentally, what really makes an industrial tool, especially in this category of D-class, is going to be the torque tolerance. So with many tools, even professional power tools, torque tolerance isn't actually that important. It's not something that you guys out there typically care about unless you're doing tasks like this. And
what would you do previously? It would be torque wrench. You'd nip the fixing down and then you'd torque it to spec.
That's right. So the ability for this tool to have a torque tolerance of plus and minus 15 for this price point is outstanding. And that's the reason we're doing well.
15 sounds like quite a lot, but in reality, it really isn't.
No, not at all. So what we've got with this machine is, in the name, it notes 50. Well, it's actually 51 max torque. However, because that's a maximum torque, what you were really interested in is the maximum auto torque shut-off levels, and that's where you have that tight tolerance. Okay, so that's 7.8 Newton meters to 45.4, which is in that 15 plus and minus 15% torque tolerance. This is all done, and you can electronically control this via the interface on the back here. Okay. On the HMI, you can see there's a number of things. You've got a light, you've got lots of indicators, and you've got this plus minus button that allows me to cycle through 12 presets, okay, where that is based on, you get a little chart, and you can work off that chart to get your approximate value. Then you would go around and then you'd actually double check by doing test fixings, because obviously the amount of torque delivered within that 15% tolerance will depend on the size and the material and the type of fixing you're doing, if it's a soft or a hard joint. So you would have a testing phase where you'll go around on your production line or whatever you're doing, and you will find the right setting for you. And then you can lock this off either via the interface or via the app, so the operator can't change it. We also have on this one, sorry Dan, is we have the custom modes. I've set up 2 custom modes, hard for you to see, C1, C2 and C3. And what that means is you're actually able to program a more precise torque value compared to the 1 to 12 values.
Yeah.
So you can have, I think you can get an additional 4 levels in between the normal torque levels that then you can program as a custom.
It's worth mentioning as well, although this is a connected tool, it is not connected via Bluetooth.
Correct. You have a little icon down there, so I'll get that for Rebecca to pick up. Little icon there, and this represents that it has NFC. Yeah. So just like your
near field connectivity, like your contact card. God, I hope this card. Sorry, easy for me to say.
Yeah, it uses the Pro 360 app. However, we're not going to go into too much detail into the app because I think that will really warrant happening on a more dedicated live stream. We haven't got time for it, but in that app you can check all the changes. You can see the tool diagnostics. You can see also how often the operator has correctly or incorrectly used the tool. Yeah. So it's a really great feature. The HMI on the back, and also hopefully you could hear the alarm, indicates whether or not you've had a unsuccessful.
It's a go, no go. That's
so,
what it is.
as an example, I'm going to do a no load. Oh, I've got it in H
mode.
mode.
On high mode.
I've got it on the non-torque setting, sorry. Okay, the machine's telling me I haven't tightened anything. There's an error here. And you'll get different warnings depending on what type of errors happened. If you double tap it, so you've over tightened it perhaps, double pressed it, it might go red. If you've slipped off the actual fitting, it'll also go red and tell you. And also, what I really like, this one also has kickback protection, kickback control. The first one of the industrial series to have it, which is really great. Do we got time for a demo, or should we?
Maybe we'll hold it back for another live.
Yeah, I think we've a demo set up. But I think we'll show you how quick.
We've got so much other stuff to show.
I know how quick and precise this tool really is, but I don't think we've got time for it. We're going to have to be very quick. Okay. Oh, I could talk about this all day.
Great bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll save that for a special because I could go on about why the electronic clutch is so much better and why this machine with all the reporting features and the torque tolerance might be a really, really key tool that you might not know you actually need. Okay, while I walk away, Ella, let's see, have we got any questions on this topic?
Radine has asked, will there be more industrial tools or just this?
There already are more.
We're back to 7 now, I think, aren't we? Is it 7?
More than 7, I believe.
Is it really? Yeah.
Nadine, you're going to have to wait till the next live stream. Next live stream where we talk about all the, not next one. You'll have to wait until we do a IW one to go through all the details. But yes, there are loads. There might be ones that might be suitable for your job if you have a specific task that is very repetitive and you need tight tolerances.
Alternatively, Radine, we know we're bound to see you at least one of the truck tour dates. Pop down, have a chat.
Have a play with this.
Yeah.
I might. it's not on the truck, I don't believe. I think I might bring. I think either myself or some of our tool demonstrators are bound to have some on them because this is becoming a very, very popular segment. Yeah. Ella, please, any more?
No more questions for now, but I would just like to add any comments from Bosch in the chat is actually Ollie behind the camera, not me.
Oh, right, okay. That's something controversial has been said then.
Okay, so moving very briefly or quickly away from this industrial tool, we're going to have a look at, well, we've got some lawn and garden that we're going to have to smash through very quickly.
This looks very similar to something we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to hand you this one, Dan.
You can hand me that one.
And then I'm going to show very quickly.
Can I have the actual one we're talking about?
No, I want you to. I want you to frame it.
Okay, I'll frame it. I'll paint a picture.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Here I have the GGP 12V-25. 25mm maximum cutting diameter pruner.
Yeah, running on 12 volt.
Running on the 12 volt battery platform.
Nice little tool. I really like it.
It's great.
What could you possibly want? I know.
A bigger one.
A bigger one. An 18 volt one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the GGP. Now 18V-32. Runs on the 18 volt battery, giving you a good runtime. But more importantly, better cutting capacity, right?
Yeah, it certainly does. All the way up to 32mm. This seems rather similar to the maximum cutting diameter of a machine we were looking at earlier, which looks rather similar to this. So there you go, 32. Double check, close it, open again, half capacity.
Yes,
20.
exactly.
So you can use, working in very similar way than the pipe cutter that we looked at earlier. In fact, it looks body-wise almost identical. The cutting head is different though. So this is designed for wood and wood alone.
I mean, actually it uses the same material, so DC53 steel. Just got a slightly different blade because obviously not designed to cut
it hasn't got the
plastics.
fork blade because it's not multi-material or plastics. Yeah.
Now I have got some green, but I've also got some old
Hang on a
wood
minute.
as well.
Yeah. Just before you...
Dan's already set it on the smaller setting, so what is it? 35, 32, and also I think it's 20.
I think it's
25. No, 20 millimeters is the smaller size.
It's the same dimensions as the pipe cutter. Thanks, Ollie. You missed the demo.
I think it was more important to see how good you look.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously that's old.
I'll get that later, shall I?
We'll get that up later, but you see. I mean, some people said you want to go faster, but I mean, you have to still move the machine to where you want.
Yeah.
So I think that's perfectly fine when it comes to speed, and what you're really getting, other than the 2 cutting modes for different diameters for speed, is the fact that if you look at a 4 amp hour battery, such as the one that I've got on here, you've got an absolutely incredible number of cuts of about 8,000 15 millimeter cuts, which is a kind of a typical size.
Yeah.
So obviously you get less if you cut higher or larger diameters, but 8,000 in a day.
On a 4 amp hour battery.
I think that's more than enough. I think that's enough. I think I'll be tired. 8,000 cuts. So high capacity, high power, but more importantly, lots and lots of runtime. With 2 different cutting modes for different diameters. Yeah. I don't think I need to say too much about that, really.
No.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Lock it away nice and safe. Let's keep going.
Yes.
Okay. I think you might have it on the ground by your end. We obviously have a chainsaw in the range, an 18-volt chainsaw. We've had it for quite some time. We've decided that we're going to bring a slightly smaller one. To add a little bit of range and flexibility on pricing.
Exactly. So this is the GKE 18V-30. So previously we've had a 40 centimetre bar. Now we've reduced this on this machine down to a 30 centimetre bar. Sometimes it's not necessary to have such a long bar on a machine. But again, there we go. Very similar in operation to the 40. A little bit less power, obviously, a little bit lower price as well, so much more affordable. There are a couple of other changes we've made to the machine as well. Obviously, we've got the battery set up in the middle there to keep it nice and balanced during use. However, the nuts that actually fit onto the side of the bar here, which are used to loosen the bar, and also you've got the little section in the front there, these are now magnetically captive. So previously on the 40, it was possible for the nuts to drop off, and obviously that's incredibly inconvenient. These ones are magnetically held on there as well, and there will be a rolling change with the 40s going forward to also include that on those as well. Yeah. Which means that you will be able to buy those parts as an additional add-on should you need them. Yeah.
So I just had to quickly change my mic pack because let's just see if that's working. Yeah, I have to change my mic pack because, as always, Dan, I've been talking too much and I've drained the batteries. All good? So if Chet can hear me, that's all good. Yep. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
So you've still got the electronic mechanical brake on the side there. And again, as you'd expect, we've got the oil reservoir in here. Automatic feed. They've improved, I think, the oil pump as well on this. So the tendency, or usually you do, is you empty the oil out of it after you finish with it. You pop it on a shelf with the oil in it. With some of the machines we've produced in the past, the oil will leak out naturally. There's no valve on this. However, with these new ones, the 40 and the 30, yes, they actually have an improved valve on them, which will reduce the amount of oil that leaks out of them.
That's right. Hey, I actually really like our 18-volt chainsaws. I know that the 40 is a really good machine. We have, I don't know if you mentioned, sorry, because I was getting my mic changed, about the change in the blade on this one.
No, I haven't mentioned the change in the blade. So, yeah, we have changed.
A more aggressive, faster cut.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to cut through material much faster than we could on the 40. Well, not faster, but obviously we have a better chain for this machine. That means the performance is not impacted just from the slightly smaller bar, for example.
Slower chain speed on this as well, but we've countered that with a more aggressive chain.
That's right. That's probably a better way of wording it. Yeah. So both models are available. We're not going to get rid of the GKE 18V-40.
Nope.
Instead, if you find yourself not needing the big cutting capacity of the 40 and you want to save yourself a little bit of money, then you have the option to buy the smaller saw. I really like the small pruning saws, however.
It's filling out the range of chainsaws, and we're not stopping here. There will be bigger as well. So we're not just going smaller.
So I'm happy.
We have a nice range.
Just happy that they're keeping going and adding more and more to the lawn and garden range as we go.
I know the gardener here has been after one of these for quite some time because he does love cutting down a few trees here and there.
Yeah.
Should he need to? Yeah,
and for those who are concerned about like runtime, because lots of people say, oh, petrol's better, it's got more power, and to some degree, yes. Petrol does have a lot of power, but you've got lots of drawbacks. Partly, you need to carry petrol everywhere, and that's not great, especially if you have to transport it in your van or whatever, and you have to consider whether or not you're doing the correct, making sure that you're up to code. You've got the maintenance of the governor and the actual machine itself.
Yeah, you got servicing for the
right, and then you've also got the noise and fumes. Machine, charge battery, stick it in. You're away. I
mean, we make a dual 16-bay charger now, so really, you've got no excuse.
Yeah, well, what about the concern about runtime, for example? Oh, batteries can't have as much runtime. Hey, man, you'll be surprised. With this particular model, depending on what battery you run, say you run a standard 8 amp hour, that's what I'd recommend generally. Yeah. You can get up to about 160 cuts. I forgot what the diameter we cut, but if you go all the way up to the 12 amp hour, right, that's 250 cuts. And now we've got a 15 amp hour battery, so you can have even more. Even more.
Try to do the maths. I can't work that one out in my head.
Yeah, I know. Okay, right. So I've made a decision. I don't know if you're going to agree, Dan, that we obviously have some more products that we would like to talk about. Because we haven't even covered our brand new measuring tool products coming out too. However, it is already nearly 8 o'clock. And what I'd rather do in these last 3 minutes is finish off with some final questions. And then what we'll do is in our next live stream, which I've already said is going to be a Q&A one. Let's then revisit the small but very, very important range of measuring tool products that are coming out in how many days? 2 days?
2 days, yeah.
Beginning of May. And then we can talk about those in that live stream.
To be fair, they're smaller machines, the measuring tools, and we'll be sat down, we'll be more relaxed, and we can pass these between us and talk about them in oh so much detail.
That's right. Partly because I'm exhausted already from going through these products. So Ella, your final Q&A. What's your final questions for Bosch Professional LIVE UK for Ella? What have we got?
So one of the questions is, does the chainsaw finally have automatic tensioning?
No, it has manual tensioning on this as well. Yeah, it's in the centre there. So you undo the 2 nuts, and you've got the scrunch that should be fitted here, the screwdriver wrench, and you plus and minus turn that to tension the actual chain and then lock it off there. So no, unfortunately, no automatic tension on this.
Next question. Someone said, guys, I might have missed that info. Will Bosch start selling the workwear like jackets they currently wear?
You will have to come and see us at the next truck tour stop.
It does look like these are engineered for action.
You are looking very
dapper.
Very much for action. This could be the beginning of a very happy story in regards to workwear.
Yes, it could be.
Maybe not this to start with.
No.
It's special for Dan and I. But maybe there might be some things in the works, eh?
Maybe Monday there might be something happening.
Oh, yes, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
It is a bank holiday Monday, right?
Oh, yeah, I need to reschedule that meeting.
No. We still have to do it. Unfortunately, I scheduled that meeting with a bunch of other countries that don't have a bank holiday. So I'm an idiot, and I'm going to be working on bank holiday Monday.
You might be on your own there.
Yeah, maybe. But yes, we are working on a project.
Yes.
That many of you might be excited to hear. But in the meantime, these bad boys, limited edition currently. Okay, and you haven't seen it?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah,
it's the whole lot.
We could be a boy band there. really bad one.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Ella, please distract us from this terrible topic.
The next question is from PF Cutters. He said, why did you bring out a smaller cordless chainsaw before a 24-inch cordless chainsaw?
This has got a bigger market to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're building up to it. Don't worry. We've got some larger saws coming as well.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for us to modify an existing design to make it more cost effective without compromising too much performance than it is to radically design a much bigger, more powerful tool. It's as simple as that.
Bear in mind that obviously we saw this when we went over to Germany and we learned all about this. But next week we have an event here in the UK where we'll be just looking at garden tools. And last year I was blown away by the 15 and the 12 that came very soon after. So who knows what we'll see later on this one.
Isn't it great that it's so mean? We're going, hey, guess what? We're going to a secret internal training conference where we're going to find out loads of products that we are not going to tell you about. But we are going to spend the next 6 months pretending we have no idea that they exist. Oh,
this hints. This
great.
hints.
That's great. Yes, but that is true. We'll be finding out a lot more information. It'll be great fun.
Yes.
Dave said, on the subject of new tools, when can we expect the 1/2-inch 18-volt router?
I heard nothing in Germany about that. So currently it's a bit quiet on that particular front. We know it's in the works, but again, we have not seen any sort of updates on that, have we? I don't know whether you did in your group.
No, let's be realistic. I think we're not going to see anything this year. Absolutely not. I think possibly it's fair for me to say that it's something that won't be coming as quickly as we want it to, and obviously as an extension that means you guys as well. So yes, I think for that one, I think that project might be a little bit on hold, which is very disappointing to hear.
You know more about it than I do.
But it doesn't mean that's the end of it. Okay, it just means that currently there are other things that we need to do, from the company need to do. And so I think the router may, don't quote me on this one, because again, it's not a definite, but it may have had to take a bit of a back burner just temporarily. Which is sad,
we dropped the 1/2-inch mains one, so that's now out there on the market. It's just that 80-volt one that we don't have yet.
Okay, Ella, please, any more?
Looks
We'll do a few
like
more, yep.
that's it for now. People are just talking amongst themselves
No,
in
they're
the
not.
chat.
They're asking, why is it Ella's last day? They will miss you.
Oh, that's
Yes,
really nice.
very
Thank
much
you, guys.
That's right. We're going to miss the, hey guys.
Yeah. I've actually got a question for Ella as well.
Uh-oh, dangerous.
Have you got any questions for us?
That's dangerous.
It's dangerous, isn't it? I've really set
I
myself
could ask anything I want right now.
anything you want. You might not get an answer.
Nothing that I can think of.
Bless you.
Thank God for that.
You have not changed, Ella. Many years we've had it. So it's been a joy having Ella, not only as part of the Bosch Professional and the Bosch team generally, but it's been a joy having her not just leave and come back, but leave and come back and coming back and do the live stream again. For God, has it been at least another year's worth?
Yeah, about 6 months. Just over 6 months.
Yeah. So I mean, thank you. I think when Ella came back, there were some people in the chat went, "Oh no."
Some people are not happy to see me.
That's right. They didn't believe that Ella's enthusiasm was genuine, but unfortunately,
It's real.
It's non-stop, relentless. But apart from that, it was sad to see you go. I don't think it's going to be very easy to replace Ella on Q&A. But anyway.
I still don't think that she's going to fully go.
She's not going to go. She said she went last time and then she just skulked back.
Yeah.
She'll be back. But at the moment, I don't know. She's off to bigger and better things. But it's all not top secret, but I don't think anyone in the chat cares, do they, Ella? But going to better things and nicer, more fun things. Away from Dan and I and our terrible dad jokes and innuendos.
Yeah.
Bless. Okay. Anyone else questions in there? No. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about what's happening in South Africa and their product launches, or America, I'm afraid. As always, you'd have to refer to your local teams and ask them, hey, what's coming, guys? Yeah. So, a little bit over 8 o'clock. Mate, guys, thanks for spending so much time sitting listening to Dad and I waffle on about some amazing tools, of course.
Or not completely do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, of course, always. So, as always, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and we will see you at the next live stream. Q&A. Yeah.
Goodbye from me.
Bye, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.